It's after 7 o'clock, so we'll start the August 28th meeting, and we'll start it off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. By any chance, did anybody get to read the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I have read all the minutes, and I'm happy to move June 12th, June 26th, and July 17th as substantially in compliance.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. COCs, 242-1679, 1920 Great Pond Road.
So this order was issued in June of 2016, and it governed the demolition of the existing north pump station. Work has been completed for some time. The only change that happened was in the plantings in terms of reducing them to allow for room for the boat racks, and that was approved by the previous administrator. But the 26 shrubs that were approved by her, they are there and doing well. The site's stable, and it has been, used as the boat launch. So I
Thank you.
recommend issuing a certificate of compliance.
Jack?
No questions.
Brad?
All set.
Al?
All set.
Joe?
All set.
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Next one, 242-1840 Mill Pond Townhouses.
Alrighty. This order was issued in May of 2022, and it governed walkway and retaining wall reconstruction around the clubhouse for the Mill Pond Townhome complex. Work was in the buffer zone, bordering bordering land subject to flooding and the riverfront. Order was modified in 2022 September to allow for installation of a concrete ramp instead of a wooden ramp. And that required flood storage compensation at 933 cubic feet. The design engineer has done the as-built and confirmed that the compensatory flood storage is there and it was built correctly. Site is stable and in good condition. Recommend issuing a certificate of compliance.
No questions here.
Brad?
All set.
Al?
All set.
Joe?
No questions.
Motion.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Next one is a partial COC 242-625.
So this is actually a reissue. The commission did vote back in '93 to issue a certificate of compliance or partial to release this lot. We couldn't find it. It was never recorded, so I don't think it ever got out the door. So this is basically a reissue for this lot to release it.
Jack, any questions?
I have no questions.
Brad?
I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
Al?
I'm going to butter. I'm going to abstain.
Okay, Joe?
No questions.
Motion.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
One abstention.
And one abstention,
Yep.
excuse me. 242-251, 1620 Turnpike Street.
This is another old order issued in January of 1985. It governed construction of a commercial warehouse and associated septic system. We scoured our files. I could not find an approved plan, and no COC was ever issued. But this property was before the commission a couple of years ago for abandoning the septic systems and connecting to the sewer in 114. So we had an as-built plan from that project. So we're just going to use the plan that we had for that project for the as-built for this old order. And that's
Jack?
Yeah, they're not saying it complies.
Well, it's hard to say what complies if you don't have an approved plan to compare it to. So, I mean, I did find.
That's really my only issue.
Well, I know, and I did find the old as-built septic system with the building, but it didn't, it wasn't like,
Yeah. no
it's in your
detail.
packet.
Yeah, I saw
So,
that.
but that's the best I could find, and that was in the Board of Health files.
Okay.
Brad? Sorry.
I guess I'm all set.
What'd you do? Al?
I'm going to defer to the engineers on the board.
Joe?
So I remember the second one coming in, and that's the one, the as-built that we do have. And I guess for us to have even moved forward on a notice of intent for that, we might have flagged that should have flagged that there was an open
Right.
order of conditions, and
So-
we didn't. So I think at that point, we lost the opportunity.
Right,
So at that point, we're assuming whether it is or not, we're assuming the original one was in compliance.
Right.
Because we're satisfied with this as-built for the second
Right.
filing. So I think it's almost a moot point, as much as I hate giving anything away, but I don't think we'll ever know if the original plan was ever in compliance. So I move that we issue certificate of compliance.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Thank you. Next one is 242-1880, 531 Boston Street.
alrighty. This order was issued in January of 2024, and it governed construction of a brand-new single-family house, septic system, driveway, and associated appurtenances. The only part of the work in the buffer zone was the driveway, front walkway, front grading and utilities, and a small section of the house, and that was buffer zone to a wetland that's across the street. Commission came before the, the applicant came before the commission about a month ago to get approval for an after-the-fact modification for a driveway turnaround that was granted. Work is complete. There is a swale that was on the proposed plan that has been constructed, and it's totally stabilized. I've included photos. Engineer has provided a certification letter. I have no issues and would recommend issuing a certificate of compliance.
Thank you. Jack? Brad? Al?
I'm all set.
Joe?
I'm just looking at the photographs, and I remember the big contention was sod and getting it to grow, and you must have used some magic grass seed.
Yeah, it's
Because that is
really,
like the most
really
lush
lush.
grass we've seen in
I
a long
know,
time.
big time.
I need to talk to
You
him.
could use Jack's grass seed.
Just throw some nitrogen on it, it'll get green.
I'm all set.
Any butters all set that came before us?
Haven't heard a peep.
Perfect. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Right.
Who moved it?
We didn't have a motion. I move that we issue a certificate of
sorry, we already
compliance for
did that.
242-1880, 531 Boston Street.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Okay, that better.
Jumping ahead.
Said he wanted to go fast.
I'm trying.
You did a good job.
Next one is 242-1803, 59 Bannon Drive.
This order was issued in January of 2021, and it governed construction of a 12 by 20 two-story addition with a frost wall foundation, and work is complete, site is stable. The addition is exactly what was approved, so this is in compliance. Recommend full and complete COC.
Okay. Jack?
Yeah, it looks like Frank Giles isn't an engineer, and he's,
Well, you guys allow
Certifying.
for professional land surveyors to stamp
we
plans
do?
as well.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
My bad. No questions.
Yep.
Brad?
All set.
Al?
I have no questions.
Joe?
This didn't have any sort of monumentation requirement on it, did it?
Yeah, we did. There
And
was,
it's
there
in
was
the
that
CF.
markers already there
They
anyway
were already
from a
there, okay.
past thing, so
I'm all set.
they're still there.
Motion?
Move to issue COC. with ongoing conditions as prescribed in the order.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Okay, small project, NACC 330, 276 Raleigh Ave.
Sure.
Hey, buddy.
Alrighty. This project entails installation of a walkway from the rear basement level back door around the side of the house to the driveway out front. It's to create a flat, easier access. The walkway will be approximately 65 feet from the bordering vegetated wetland at its closest point. The walkway will be 3 feet wide, with 47 feet of it within the buffer zone. And there will be a 7x3 concrete landing at the basement door. The grand total in the buffer is 169 square feet. Let's see. So this is coming under a category L as other projects of minimal impact. I'd recommend installation of erosion controls. Permeable material should be used between pavers to ensure infiltration. And then schedule a pre-construction meeting with the contractor. And then a post-construction to verify compliance and approve removal of erosion controls.
Thank you.
Homeowners here if you have any questions.
Jack? Brad?
What's the material for the pathway? Is it pavers or we got
It's
concrete?
going to be pavers, and use crushed stone, barrier.
Okay. So not completely impervious, maybe. Almost that.
The joints, I guess, that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Al?
No waivers on this, right?
Nope.
Okay, I'm all set.
Sean?
No questions?
Joe?
There's a rectangular feature in the backyard that's not
That's-
described in any fashion?
That's the wetland, sorry. The green,
Nope. There's a rectangular structure in the area
Oh.
further up to the shed,
that's a shed,
but it's grandfathered?
yes. 'cause
Should we
it-
make some sort of, in whatever decision
Oh,
we
yeah.
issue, make sort of some mention that it,
Sure.
as to its grandfathered
It
condition?
was signed off by Pam Merrill at the time. So she signed off on the building permit,
Okay,
so,
for the shed.
yeah.
Yes. The shed was done, I believe, back in 2018, maybe? Might have even been a little bit before that.
Yeah, it was.
Just make
it
some
was
reference so
before
we
then.
don't trip up
I
on
will.
it later on.
Yep,
For that.
yep, it
Hmm?
was.
2018 or before is when the shed was put in. It was prior to the wetlands.
They signed off on it, we did. I'm all set.
Approve the small project application for 276 Raleigh Tavern Lane as a subsection L, and that we put in place the conditions proposed by the administrator.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Thank you.
You're all set.
Thanks.
Next one, NACC 331, 325 Abbott Street.
All right, so this project entails the construction of a new deck, landing and stairs totaling 225 square feet. The existing stairs associated with the separate deck will be moved prior to installation of the new deck. 6 new 12-inch concrete footings are proposed. At its closest point, the new deck will be approximately 61 feet from the wetland at the rear of the property. Let's see. So I'd recommend finding this qualifying under category A and having the pre-construction erosion controls installed, pre-construction meeting with the contractor, and then a post-construction to verify compliance, and then remove erosion controls.
Jack?
No questions.
Brad?
Yeah, I'm all set.
No questions.
Tom?
No questions.
Joe?
No questions.
Motion?
I move that we approve the application for 325 Abbott Street, small project permit under subsection A with the conditions proposed by our administrator.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's unanimous. Next one is NECC 332, 75 Surrey Drive.
Alrighty. Well, it's gotta be in here somewhere. Maybe it's not, okay. All right, so this project is after the fact for the demolition of an existing deck, which totaled 365 square feet, and the existing deck was about 55 feet from the wetland at its closest point. We had the applicant install erosion controls once we found out about it. They are proposing to install a much smaller deck, a 10 by 10, and the stairs, without stairs. With stairs. Okay. And stairs. Okay, it's proposed to be replaced within the demolished deck footprint. At its closest point, the new deck will be 71.5 feet from the wetland. So we recommend a category A, maintaining the existing erosion controls, a quick pre-construction meeting with the contractor, and then a post-construction to verify compliance and removal of erosion controls.
Thank you. Jack? Brad?
All set.
I'll sit.
Sean?
Any questions?
Joe?
I'm looking at the photograph of the rear of the house, and I'm looking at the ledger board around the back corner, the side corner of the house, the back corner of the house, which is where a deck would be fastened to. It looks to me that's a remnant of the old deck, but it certainly looks like it's a heck of a lot bigger than 10 by 10. So how confident of,
Well, I think,
look at the door, the edge of the door to the corner of the house is more than 10 feet.
So they're doing it in the existing footprint, but only a 10 by 10 deck. They're not building the whole footprint out, and it's going to be right at the end of the driveway to the edge of the house and out. So it's gonna be 20 feet, 20 feet farther.
So I guess my
away from
point
the
is-
wetland.
Even to say a small project, they can go a little bigger than 10 by 10.
Yeah, they didn't want to.
And
We
they're
we
still
gave them
far
the
enough, and
option.
they're still far enough away.
we told them
All right.
they could do in-kind replacement too, but they wanted to shrink it to 10 by 10, so.
I just want to make sure that whatever permit we're going to give is exactly what they're looking to build. And
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah.
like it should, it looks like it wants to be bigger, which would be okay.
And it's certainly gonna be hard to come back later and get it approved if they want.
Not a small project usually though, right? You don't usually come back and amend it
Oh,
for
yeah,
a
the
small
old deck
project.
was only 55.
Anyway, it's neither here nor there. If they're saying 10 by 10, that's what they're getting a
Plus,
permit
it's
for.
already done.
It's 71 feet away.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's already done.
deck's not done.
It's all done.
Demolition's done.
Demo's
No,
done.
the demo.
Oh, the demo's done.
demo.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
deck's
I
not
thought-
up
I
yet.
thought it said
Rebuilt
all.
yet.
Okay. All right,
How
so we need a motion.
I move that we approve the small project of 75 Surrey Drive as subsection A, and with the recommendations of our administrator.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Next one is a modification, number 301, 81 Paddock Lane.
Okay. All right, so this order issued in March of 2023 governs construction of an in-ground pool, associated grading, and a retaining wall by the driveway. Work is underway, and the pool superstructure has been installed. The modification proposal includes a short 2-foot-high retaining wall at the cut in the grade, which would make most sense to stabilize that shelf instead of trying to regrade that slope or make it a slope, and then you would have to chase it into lawn that isn't getting disturbed from the construction. Also, modification to the fence layout to square off the northeast corner of the patio, and a small triangle of that fence would be in the 50, no build zone, but it's still within lawn area. Thor Egerly is here this evening if you have questions.
Thank you. Jack?
But it's out of the 50, so the proposed, the corner of the fence is, yeah. But not the,
Previously approved?
a fence was, but it wrapped around with the patio
So they're
instead.
proposing this as part of the modification?
Yes.
Is the wall, the one on the left side of the pool? Can you?
So it's right along here.
Oh,
And
it's
I
there.
tried to highlight it in your packet
We don't have that one.
where the proposed
The
wall
one?
is.
Oh, block retaining
Oh,
wall.
there it is.
Yeah, I
This
see.
side? Okay, thanks.
I see,
Looking
yeah.
for the-
Well, I'm a little concerned about the request for a variance, but I think the wall is well within bounds. That's all I have, Lou.
I don't have anything else besides that.
Oh, yeah, mitigation was proposed, right?
So is this a waiver request?
I never
It
know,
feels
because
like
you
a waiver
guys
request.
seem like you do approve fences in the 50. I mean, this is, I mean,
Sometimes we require them in the 25.
yeah, keep people out.
Yeah, I don't have.
I mean, this isn't lawn, it's not like, I mean, they can, you guys
It's
can
a-
deny it and they'll stick, and they
Yeah.
stick with wrapping it around the top of the patio.
Yeah, we certainly wouldn't have showed it in the 50 but I know we've had a lot of projects where we, pools, fences, and the fences, I know we've done ones without waivers for fences. I had always understood that the fences were okay. If it was within lawn, obviously anything other than that, it was not okay. But
What's the regulation say? That's what I'm
Well-
trying to look up here, and I'm not doing a very good job.
Fence is not a structure.
Nope.
Well, there's a problem with our regs because
We
in the
allow.
50, when it's describing what the 50 is and what's not allowed, it does list fences as a prohibited thing, and then at the waiver section, it doesn't list fences, so,
Is this in regulations or in the bylaw?
the regs.
We don't normally consider fences as a structure, right?
We don't.
No, because we put walls at the 25.
So, I mean, we can fix the regs.
Yeah, I'm just going to sign on logic. As well, I mean, I
Well,
think that
we want it to be consistent and reasonable, and if it's not.
anything allowing a fence within, between the 50 and 25 is
And
something
I'm
that's
saying
done
at
on
the
a
same
regular
time, too,
basis.
we should mark on our to-do list to repair that regulation and correct it.
I agree.
Because it's wrong.
We usually just approve a fence, so, as long as it's keeping things out of the wetlands, we usually kind
I've
of,
never-
flexible.
I've never seen us consider a fence a structure.
No,
So if it's not a structure, what are we talking about?
Does the building department consider them a structure after 6 feet?
Higher than 6 feet, they do.
And this
So-
is not higher than 6 feet.
Right.
Yeah.
This is 5,
So-
correct?
Yeah, it's probably less than that.
I believe four
Four?
feet, yeah,
Four.
minimum.
Basically, it's a pool protection,
Yes.
protecting
Yeah,
fence.
Slotted
So,
metal fence.
secondary function is actually providing a physical barrier to the resource area, so, I mean, I can see us granting it on both accounts.
I think this falls in the category of, and I don't have the regulation open in front of me, but I have a little paraphrase of it, that driveways, roadways, retaining walls, and landscape boulder walls may be allowed within 50 no build when no other feasible location or alternative meaning exists.
But absence from that is the word fence.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we're
So either
fine.
way.
I think we're good on this.
I'm comfortable moving it, if you
Okay.
guys are ready.
Any more questions?
I move that we approve the modification as proposed.
Second?
Not still decision.
Yeah, go ahead, no.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next one is RDA 340 Johnson Street.
Pretty good summary sheet.
Okay. Alrighty. So this project entails installation of a 54-inch tall aluminum fence partially within the 50, and partially within the 200-foot, outer 200-foot riverfront area associated with an unnamed stream. The project also entails repairing existing deck stairs and installing a 400-square-foot patio within the 100-foot buffer zone associated with a very small pond in the backyard. Portions of the patio and stairs are in the outer riverfront. Pervious materials for the patio will be used. We did have an addendum description and a spec for that, for the joints in the patio. And then we have the waiver request for the fence, only because it was, you know, definitely in the 50. It is all in lawn, but that's it. So I'd recommend, you know, we'll have a discussion about a fence again, and then a -3 would be appropriate with conditions that require, you know, pre-construction erosion controls and a site visit and post-construction.
Why does it need a waiver?
Well,
It's the same debate we
it's
just
the same
had.
debate that we just had, so,
So
I
Okay.
don't know. we just-
since we just had it,
Yeah,
You also got
let's
patio.
let's not debate it again.
No.
I'll move that we grant the waiver.
the patio's out of the 50 though,
Okay. It's in the riverfront area?
very outer reaches in lawn.
All right, do we have a motion to, Right.
Did not
So I know
need a
this
second.
is
Someone
a
from our
public
office
hearing, so-
They're not?
inspect the line and agree with it?
Yes.
Yes,
They're still talking.
that's my only question.
all right, so, back to square one. We have a motion to grant the waiver, which I don't think they need.
Well, we could say we don't need the waiver, or we could just grant the waiver. What is the commission?
Don't grant something that's not
Yeah, I'd
needed.
say we don't say we need it.
Don't, if it's not needed, don't grant it.
So delete the waiver request.
Okay.
and-
Not applicable.
And rule that the fence doesn't require a waiver.
Okay,
I'm more comfortable with that. I like that better. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, do we have to make a motion for that?
No,
Okay.
no,
I don't think we need a motion. That
I
can be
can
done.
just put it right into our findings.
Right,
Okay.
right into the notes.
Very
So
good.
the fence is off the table. So what do they need now?
Just the
Did they get-
patio,
And the fence.
Does
the,
anybody- Jack, you have any more questions on
the
this?
deck stairs
Brad?
repair.
No, I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm all set to vote.
Sean, do you have any more questions?
No questions.
Joe?
The pond that's referenced, it's not like a man-made pond, it is a resource area, correct?
Yes.
And it's still providing, it's not any
No,
potential vernal
it's-
pool habitat?
It backs up against the Ridgewood Cemetery.
Yeah, it's permanent. It was surveyed as a vernal pool.
Man-made.
It's listed as a potential vernal pool, but there's fish in it now. There's habitat. It's permanent.
Okay, I'm all set then.
All
So
right,
this is a public hearing, so I don't know if anyone's here.
Okay, is there anybody say for this application? We've had about 10 of them already, but that's okay. No. All right, so we need a motion, we have all the questions answered.
One more answer to a question. construction of any kind is prohibited within this zone, including but not limited to foundations, multifamily dwellings, commercial and/or industrial buildings, porches, decks, patios, house additions, building additions, pool equipment, and fences, septic systems, and sheds. So, I think Al should move to waive the 50-foot.
So you're saying we need a waiver?
Wait, you're saying the,
Saying it's very clear here. We need a
for
waiver.
the RDA, they need a waiver?
Yep.
For what?
The fence within 50 feet of a wetland.
But we've already discussed that.
We were wrong.
So the,
I don't,
Okay.
You're reading.
I'm reading directly from,
Two conflicting.
I'm reading directly from our regulations.
so,
so, yeah, it lists
regulations need
fences
to-
in the definition,
Yeah, we can do that.
but
we
it,
gotta fix the
Until
regulations.
then, we waive it.
Okay.
Yep.
If you want a waiver, I'll move a waiver. I mean,
Second.
I think either way they should get it, the conversation I think is silly.
Yeah.
okay, move the waiver.
So
Second.
if you wanna check that box, I'll move the waiver.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
And then I'll follow up by moving that we
Close.
close the
and
hearing and
issue-
issue a negative predetermination with the conditions to be determined by the administrator.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you.
First thing you read was that the conflict was two different things.
It was a statement.
When you get language.
And here's another one.
I was like, well, we're gonna have this
Holy
chat
crap,
tonight.
I know, we're gonna have a fence chat.
Where am I? RDA 51 Nutmeg Lane. Defense day today.
Why is this not here? I don't understand.
Sale.
Let me just.
So we're in the same box again on
Yes.
this one?
Yeah, same one.
It's like we're having this chat tonight, I guess. Yeah.
I have fence day
We're
today.
gonna,
Okay, we're finally getting it right, though.
we gotta be consistent. We gotta
Yeah, of
not
course.
require a waiver for fencing on this one either.
Okay.
Do you want a motion on that, or do you wanna just handle it?
Everything else
wait
is
a
the same,
minute.
'cause it's
You
outside the
just-
25.
We
Yeah.
just granted a
No,
waiver
you
for-
just did.
Pardon me?
We just granted a waiver for.
Yeah, we just did.
When? Oh, yeah, yeah.
When you offered it.
All right, you want me to move this one too?
Yeah,
It's
Sure,
the same
hold on,
circumstances.
let's
It's
at least listen.
outside the 25, it's in law, and it's all the same circumstances, right?
Well, it's
Yep.
a little
funny how we
different.
pick up on these. I bet you we've done 100.
Amy said it's a little different. How's it different?
Doesn't look like it's fully
So,
installed.
it's going behind, so there's it's an isolated wetland, and the fence is gonna go behind a landscape bed. So it's not gonna be in lawn, it'll be like behind the landscape bed, like in the woods.
But it's out of
Up
the 20.
against the plant, you know.
But
up
it's out of
against
the 25.
Still
It's
outside
out of the
the-
25, and
Okay,
that's why it has a weird
That's
shape.
all we should be interested in. Fences
So-
protecting the wetlands.
So, yeah, so this is just strictly a fence project, out of the 25.
Okay. I see.
Okay, in the interest of being consistent, I'm gonna move to issue the waiver.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. And then is there any other questions? Jack?
No, I have
Brian?
other questions.
Yeah?
I don't have any more questions.
Sean? Nope. Joe?
None.
Motion.
I'll move that we close and issue a negative predetermination with conditions to be listed by the administrator.
Second.
We have a second? We do.
Yep.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Hopefully we've all
And
learned our
then-
fence lesson.
Yeah, it's unanimous.
Until we amend the regs.
Yep.
We haven't
Yeah.
learned anything.
Okay. Next one is 60 Seville Street. Not a fence, yay.
Maybe it needs one.
Two, no, I think it's a deck. Just trying to find
There's
come
no
anyway.
waiver
Okay.
request on this one, right?
No.
This is just a straight up idea?
Yeah, straight up for a deck. It's entailing rehabilitation of existing 16 by 12 deck, as well as extending the deck with a new 10 by 12 addition and stairs. A 3 by 4 concrete pad will be installed at the bottom of the new stairs to anchor. 6 new 12-inch sonotube footings will be proposed. The new deck addition and the stairs will be more than 300 square feet, triggering the RDA instead of a small project. And the new addition will be no closer to the wetland than the existing deck, which is 65 feet. So I recommend closing the hearing and issuing a -3, erosion control installation and pre-construction with the contractor, and then a post-construction to verify compliance and removal of contractors here this evening if you have any questions.
Jack, any questions?
I'll sign.
No questions, Mr. Chair.
Nope. Joe?
Just want to, I think it's Amy's summary, I just want to make sure it's clear, because it reads, grammatically it reads that, as well as extending the deck with a new addition and stairs.
Oh.
The addition is the deck addition.
Correct.
Not an addition
Not a-
to the
not a
building.
house addition.
Okay,
Just a deck
I'm all
addition.
set.
I move that we close, issue a -3 with the conditions listed by the administrator.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you, you're all set.
Thanks, you're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
ANRAD, 242-1889, request to continue till 9/11/24.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's unanimous. Next one, well, wait. 242-1896, 0 Great Pond Road.
Alrighty. This is a property that is along Great Pond Road, and it also abuts a paper street called Short Street, and it is also within the Washington Street right-of-way in Boxford. It is a property owned by Brooks School, and Edgewood Retirement Community is submitting this as the applicant. I reviewed the wetland delineation a couple of weeks ago with the wetland consultant, and we did make some flag adjustments, or I asked for some flag adjustments. The attached plan does show those adjustments. So we have 3 BBW series and 2 isolated wetland series. The I series is a non-jurisdictional swale in the ground, and that was previously reviewed. This wetland line was reviewed by you guys like several years ago, and Jen had looked at it as well. So the I series is not a wetland. There is no riverfront, floodplain, natural heritage, or vernal pools documented. Thor Akerley, the wetland consultant's here this evening if you have any questions. And
Jack?
this-
No, I have no questions.
Who's the I-Series on here?
It's right along the edge of the right-of-way for Washington Street.
Ah. I don't know, also.
My question is for Amy, you reviewed this.
Yeah.
So you're satisfied with it?
Yep,
I'm all set.
yep.
Sean?
No questions?
Joe?
I remember the last time it came in under NANRAD, that they were only looking to establish specific lines, which were not all of the resources in their entirety on the property. Is this all of the resources on the property again, or is it just these and only these?
Just these. We have another ANRAD that's valid for the rest of all the wetlands,
So these will,
like this way and that way, yes. Just I don't know where they left it off, left this off. of the one that we reviewed previously.
Because I think we should be taking them together. I think we should, what's previously approved should be shown on this plan as previously approved.
So
Well-
we actually did show, at least what you can see from the plan view, so we had the surveyor reference the wetland line you see there. I believe it's the D series maybe, or the B. It's
So-
quite a while ago. And it's I mean, the other, it is, there are two separate parcels here. This is one, and then the other is just below it towards Brooks.
Okay, so it's not, so that one, I don't want to confuse the two, but the older one, they were only looking for us to confirm the line that was shown.
Correct.
And there were other resource areas there that nobody addressed. You weren't looking for confirmation, we weren't confirming, so it was only the line we confirmed. This here, is this all of the resource areas on this property?
So this specific property, the one you see on the upper part does extend out towards Great Pond Road. So there, we didn't look beyond, so there could be some on the other side of it's a big hill, could be some on the other side of the hill, which we did not look at. So it does not necessarily characterize all of the wetlands on that parcel. I believe it's about 30 acres. But this is the important part to the,
But within the confines of whatever it is you guys, whatever the owner is contemplating, this encompasses all the resource areas within that area.
correct,
So if we act on only this, you're getting what you need.
correct.
I'm all set.
One more question, take a motion.
You should check for abutters on this one, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, any abutters for this, school project?
No one answers.
Nobody. So,
I'll
motion?
I'll move that we close the hearing and issue the ORAD affirming the wetland resource areas as depicted on the 8/2/24 plan.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous.
Thank you.
Just
Thanks.
for my own edification, I know that when we do an NOI, I'm familiar with that form, there's an owner and applicant distinction.
Yes,
Similarly, with an ARAD,
Yeah.
that the owner has to sign off to allow Edgewood to come in and basically encumber their property with our line.
yeah,
And that's all in place?
yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're fully on board. Yeah. Applicant, Edgewood, owner,
And
Brooks.
it's signed off by both parties?
Yes.
Okay, I'm all set.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Okay, NOIs. 242-1894, request to continue till September 11th.
Second, so moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. 242-1901, request to continue till 9/11.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Okay, back on top, 242-1889, oh, I'm sorry, 242-1896. No, wait, I'm looking at the wrong, I gotta check that.
It is
I'm still looking at
1895.
95.
95. 43 Montero Way. We got all these check marks and miss that one.
43 Montero Way, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
Alrighty. So Commissioner will recall this project is a proposed new single-family house on a vacant lot. I had reviewed the wetland delineation, asked that the wetland consultant go back and take a look at the area landward of flags A14 and A15. He did do that. He found some additional wetland indicators, so he did bump that line up a little bit. But it didn't, it wasn't fatal to the project, so the patio is still outside the 50, not by much, but it's still outside the 50. I had also asked that the owner think about roof runoff and trying to capture that, so what am I trying to say? Stone infiltration trenches were added to the plan. So that's it. That's,
Jack,
Yeah, I have no
it's not
questions
the
on
right
this.
plan.
Brad?
All set.
We've been beating at this one for a while.
Yeah? Set?
You guys all set? I'm all set.
Sean?
No questions?
No questions.
Motion?
Amy, you all set on this? Can we close it?
Yeah, I have a draft decision ready, and I don't think there's any abutters here for it, I'm not sure.
Are there any
No
abutters
abutters.
for this project? None answered? I'll move that we close and issue in 21 days.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Next one is 242-1898, Route 114. Before Amy gives her narrative, we had a meeting with Jason and Greg about this project, and I know we had a lot of interest in it because of the dewatering and so I made a suggestion that we can review it when we do the decision, that we really can't say what's going to happen. So what I was thinking of was maybe if we approve the project, as part of the order conditions, to have a site review. And when the awarding contractor tells us what he's going to do, then we can kind of do what we have to do.
Yeah, I think the general direction we've gone to in the last public hearing.
Yeah, this is a kind of
a more performance-based order as opposed to very specific type of order.
right. You know, because I mean, it's going to be you can't design, figure out what you want the project to be done. We don't even know what to expect, and I don't think Greg does either.
No, but I do think that we came up with some solid conditions. Looking at past orders that this commission has approved and incorporating some new language just to do exactly what you described. Create a system of checks and balances so people aren't out there just doing things willy-nilly. But we paid specific attention to stockpiling, dewatering, and other really important components that we talked about at the last hearing.
Yeah, we talked the last time we talked. I'll just set up with the existing stormwater regs, and Amy's got some. But the dewatering, it's got to be a certain figure. I
Yeah.
think what she said. Okay. So I mean, like I said, it's going to be a tough project. I mean, I hope you don't hit a drop of water, but that's not going to happen. And how the stockpile? You're gonna? Is there some place you figured out where you want to do it? Or?
Yeah, so we did take your recommendation, and I think the town is going to reach out to some neighbors. There
Okay.
are some properties close by that do have some room that I think are even outside of jurisdictional resource areas.
Okay.
We did revise the plan set to show a new stockpile location near the Willows pump station that we're decommissioning, because we can. That's all lawn there, and that's an easy spot to put one. But the specific stockpile locations for the road work, that's going to be determined later. But the contractor is going to understand the constraints and that they can't go beyond the limit of work. There is going to be language about covering any pile with plastic and surrounding it by additional erosion controls. There's a very rigorous street sweeping requirement. We talked about the types of trucks that will be used, where unsuitable material will go. So all those specifications were submitted with our revised package, and they're incorporated in the plan set. So, and then as far as dewatering, you're right, 40 NTUs is going to be the magic number that folks are going to have to live with. There's going to be daily monitoring. Before any dewatering is done, a very detailed plan stamped by a PE is going to be submitted to Amy and the commission to be reviewed, and that is going to be designed by a PE. But the specific on how the contractor is going to do it won't be decided until the contractor is chosen. But we did revise the plan set to incorporate a more detailed generic erosion control type situation instead of just the dirt bag. We're incorporated some core logs and some additional erosion controls in addition to the dirt bag. And the condition that we're recommending goes into the order. We'll talk about no direct discharge into the wetland, flow over a vegetated stable slope prior to reaching the resource area, typical stuff that you like to see to prevent erosion. So tried to get it as tight as we could in the conditions, and I reviewed them. I I think the conditions that were recommended will be good to protect the resource areas.
Yeah, because like I said, that's why, just to be, if we want to put input after the order's granted, we want to have space, room for that, after a site view with the contractor. I'd like to have a little communication with the contractor in this project, because the way what it is, you know, so he knows where we're coming from, even though you tell him, we like to let them know. Excuse me.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Amy, that language is in the conditions, the communication part of it.
Yep.
and
And
it's
actually,
re-
I added sort of a sit-down meeting before the on-site pre-construction, to just sit down and go over everything. So,
Yep.
Okay.
The only thing you've got to be real careful of, and it's really comes right down to Wood and Curran's ability to put the contract drawings in the bid documents together properly, is that we got to lay out a very robust set of criteria that's crystal clear to the contractor. We're going to hold them to a high standard, because this lack of specificity, if they submit something to us as a pre-construction condition, the contractor's hired, he's under contract, they come to us with a dewatering and a siltation control plan, and et cetera, and we don't accept it, change order. So they got to be real careful how they structure the bid document, that knows that, you know, that we're not going to unreasonably withhold approval of their plan, but if they submit junk, we're not going to approve it, and it's no basis for a change order.
Yep.
And that's the real slippery slope as far as, you know, public bidding is concerned, is to prevent that.
Yep.
So that's where I don't see any clarity, because we don't see the bid documents yet. I see what we are saying in our order, and our order will be part of the spec, but I don't see what Wood and Curran is obligating the contractor to do to maintain his unit pricing, or his whatever form of pricing he's using for dewatering. We just don't see it yet.
We provided some specs on soil management and dewatering as part of the revised information. This should have been.
You
in
have
the
already submitted that?
packet.
Yeah,
Okay, so-
I provided to you. Email.
This stuff?
I provided to the entirety in the email.
So it's like an additional 77 pages.
Yeah, so Joe, I printed out the same thing you're looking at.
Yep.
But there were 77 other pages that accompanied this. This is just the cheat sheet that,
Where you can find all the information.
yeah, high-level stuff, and then the details were included in the 77 pages.
Really, it's no skin off my back here as a commission member, but as a citizen, what I don't want to do is open up a checkbook. We had a similar project on 125 back prior to that, building the high school. Remember the bridge that wasn't a bridge, and we told them, and lo and behold, we told them exactly what it was, and they got into it. It was like a $600,000 change order. And as a commission member, we cautioned them to not get into that. I just want to make sure we're not opening up a change order here.
Understood.
And if we tell them to come back and submit something to us, and if for whatever reason we might say that's insufficient, I don't want them to say, well, that's not how we bid the project.
Yeah, it was 77 pages, so
Yep.
I wasn't gonna.
Okay, I hate to say, I haven't read it yet.
Do you have any questions, Brad? Brad? Yeah?
No questions.
Like I said, still, we don't know until we,
No, if they feel sufficient, that that's what's gonna cover the rear end, then when they submit something to us, the
Right.
ball's in our court. We can say it works or it doesn't.
So there are waivers here. I don't think we took action at the last hearing, and it's for the Jasmine pump station to have pavement and the structures themselves in the no-build zone, and there is a fence. There's a fence there too, so we did request a waiver for both.
Yes.
I don't know,
So what do you need right now?
Is there any alternative, did you do an alternative analysis?
We did, and in fact, there's going to be an improvement. We're actually removing impervious surface as a result of this project, and specifically in that area close to the river. Decrease in pavement.
And is this closing tonight?
It could, I have a draft decision, if
Do you
you
need,
guys.
do you need the waivers approved first?
She does, yeah. So if you want to move it.
I'll move the waivers, approve them.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
So now is it ready to close, or does it need more information?
I remember from last one, you can't put it anywhere else.
Can this,
There is no choice.
can this project close now, or do we need more info from these guys?
No, I think I made the caution, they're confident that in their bid document, they're obligating the contractor to consider all those things. One of those things is they submit to us, and if we say it's insufficient,
Okay,
all we can do is point out to what was out on the ground,
okay.
out in the public.
Because like I say, you
Round
can't, you
first.
can't regulate something that you don't know what you got.
Okay, no, I get it, I
It's
understand. but-
performance-based, you know.
Right.
You don't put any silt in, if you do, it can't be greater than 40 NTUs. And you gotta sweep, and keep things clean and prevent it, that's all you can do. And if something does happen, it's gotta be,
Addressed.
Are there any abutters to this project? We have an abutter. Would you go to the podium, please, even though we know you? And let us know what's on your mind.
I'm Melinda Perone, so I'm Melinda Perone, 65 Meadowwood Road. And I have two questions. The first is, how will this affect Willow Street? Because as it is, much of the traffic that goes along Flagship will come through Willow Street, and we have tremendous problems on Willow Street with dumping. And after hours littering. And then the second question was, how will this affect the sewage that comes from our neighborhood to the Jasmine pumping station? Thank you.
I don't even.
Sounds like a question for you guys, but.
I'm not exactly sure where that neighborhood is.
I don't even know, that's connected?
So it's,
I don't know.
north and west of the subject property is access from 125.
over by the backside of Chestnut Green.
If that sewage is already flowing to Jasmine, it's just gonna keep doing the same thing. The Willows pump station is gonna be decommissioned, and anything that's going to Willows is now gonna be going to Jasmine. So there
I
shouldn't be
see.
any changes in sewage collection.
Yeah, there won't be any, people will still be able to use everything as they're using it. They won't have to
Absolutely.
stop. And I think the short answer is too, for traffic flow, it's my understanding there's still gonna be 2 lanes during construction on 114, so they won't be rerouting people through neighborhoods, if that was a concern.
Plus, I would think that Meadowwood would be connected to the sewer line on 125. Not on 114, not on 114.
Well,
I think there will be one lane shut down.
yeah, but there'll still be at least 2, 1 each way.
There's no detours.
So my question is not with regards to traffic through Meadowwood, since that's not connected. But if you see where Willow Street comes off of 114, it divides. Traffic can go left or right, and it's a circle. So if traffic is backed up on Flagship, where the pumping station is, I think is that the Willow pump, there's a pumping station?
There is, yeah, right where it says Turnpike Street, that's where the Willows pump station is that they're decommissioning.
Okay.
Yeah, and there won't be, when they're doing that, there shouldn't be any effect on Turnpike.
On Flagship or Willow?
Yeah, they're not gonna close Turnpike Street and force people into Willow Street. But folks can still go into Willow Street and as they can today.
Our major issue now is that at Jasmine Plaza, many people cut through to get onto Willow Street. So we've had a lot of extra traffic on Willow. So that's just something to keep in mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if there are no more questions, I move to close this hearing.
Sounds like a plan.
Second.
I will second that one.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you all.
Okay. 242-1899, 865 Johnson Street, 865 and 877.
representatives here for 865, 877 Johnson?
Billy DeFrank, wasn't
Yeah. I guess no one's here.
On the table, Mr. Chairman?
Table it? Okay.
Are we expecting the applicants? Are we expecting the applicant's engineer?
I thought he was
We had
coming.
open questions, he had submitted
Why don't-
additional information. He should be here, yeah.
Yeah, why don't we table it?
All right. Next one is 242-1900 Great Pond Road.
We can't forget, if he doesn't show up, we can't forget to continue it,
I
though.
just made a notation.
Okay, thanks.
I did the same thing, I put an asterisk on my, this one.
Thanks. Thanks. All right, let's see. I hope I did this right. No, all right. Well, wait a minute. Supplemental info? I think supplemental info has those plans that you want me to project. Okay, I can pull those up if they want them. All right, that's existing conditions. Alrighty, I'll just give a quick overview and you guys can get in the weeds. So the proposed project will reconstruct the existing deteriorating boat launch, replace the failed concrete and stone retaining wall along the shoreline, and reorganize the parking, driveway, and boat rack areas. Project features include a new boat launch, a new concrete block retaining wall, proposed permeable paver parking areas and driveways, as well as a bioretention areas to manage stormwater runoff. Other site improvements include a new double swing gate and locking bollards at the boat ramp to restrict unwanted access and ensure security. Work to take place within inland bank to Lake Kachikowick, 202 linear feet. Land underwater, 4,838 square feet, with the same of replacement. 100-year floodplain zone A, 4,838 square feet with replacement of 5,075 square feet. Natural Heritage identifies the eastern pond mussel as a species of special concern in the lake, and they have provided a comment letter with conditions, and that's should be in your packets. 100-foot buffer zone and the 25 and the 50. Work will be in those zones. Alternatives analysis has been provided with a waiver request. The project is before the planning board with a watershed special permit, and it has gone through one round of stormwater peer review, which I've attached as well. We have representatives from environmental partners this evening, the town's consultant, if you want to have more in-depth conversation.
Good evening. My name is Jamie Villette with Environmental Partners,
I'm Ryan Paul, Environmental Partners.
and we're here to present on behalf of the town the North Lake Cochituate Boat Launch Project. As Amy mentioned, the existing site is off of Great Pond Road, directly across the street from 1939 Great Pond Road. The existing boat launch is in disrepair. It's a asphalt boat launch that is failing. And then the other major concern is the failed retaining wall that currently follows the existing water's edge of Lake Cochituate. For the existing site, you can see the boat racks are to the east of the parcel, and then the gravel parking area and driveway connect off of Great Pond Road. Amy, could you go to sheet C6?
Sure.
Thank you.
That's the
As part of the site improvements, the key features would be the new permeable paver boat launch. We are proposing reducing the slope to make it easier for individuals to access the boat launch and increase safety. The new launch will be approximately 12% slope and extend further out into the lake than existing conditions. There will be revetment on either side of the new boat launch and at the toe of the boat launch. That's interlocking stone to hold in the new permeable paver ramp. And then on the top of the boat launch, there will be locking bollards so that it can restrict access to only the fire department for emergency situations. And then as you follow the top of the boat launch, there's a pathway that connects to the new circular driveway. And to the east of the site, we've reorientated the parking area as well as the driveway entrance to better suit the connectivity and flow of the site for pedestrians to access the site, and also the new boat racks will then be flipped from where the existing gravel parking lot is and will be closer to the new boat launch ramp. And then to the north of the site, we've proposed bioretention areas as a buffer between the roadway and the existing the lake. So the bioretention areas will collect stormwater runoff from a portion of Great Pond Road as well as a portion of the site. This is intended to improve the water quality that is currently running off from Great Pond Road and the site directly into Lake Cochituate. And then the retaining wall to the south, we've relocated further inland from where the existing retaining wall is to not only provide additional land underwater, but to provide compensatory, meet the general performance standards for bordering land subject to flooding by providing the necessary compensatory flood storage area. And then to the end of the retaining wall to the east, the existing site experiences erosion on the upland banks. So we've proposed slope stabilization with a riprap slope. And then to add, in regards to best management practices and dewatering for the site, we will be proposing erosion controls as well as requiring the contractor provide a stamped PE submittal for the dewatering plan. The dewatering plan will include turbidity curtain and coffer dam to keep the work in the dry during the demolition of the existing retaining wall and boat launch, as well as constructing the new boat launch and retaining wall. And then the filter socks are proposed along the site. The proposed work does occur within the no-build zone as well as the 50-foot zone and up to the 100-foot zone. The 4 jurisdictional wetland resources, as Amy mentioned, were land underwater, bordering vegetated wetland, the FEMA flood zone, and what's the
last one I'm missing, Ryan. There's bordering vegetated wetland, FEMA flood zone, and inland bank, thank you.
Oh, inland bank.
Thank you. Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my initial question is more of a clarification of what you just said, about turbidity control during demo of the existing retaining wall and then construction of the new retaining wall as shown. How's that going to work? Is there going to be like boom out into the water? You have a cofferdam proposed. Could you just, in common terms, take us through that?
Sure. So the turbidity curtain will follow the limits of work. It is essentially a curtain that's anchored in the water, and then the coffer or porta dams is what they're also referred to, will be installed, and the contractor would typically use some type of pumping method to dewater the work zone into a frac tank to settle out any solids before discharging that water back into the lake.
So I'll just add to that. So the porta dams, which is what we spec, or some alternative close to a porta dam, which is proprietary type coffer dam. They're basically metal frames, and they have a impermeable type barrier that is connected to them. And so those get set up while they're in the water, and then once they're set up and able to actually block off, cordon off this area, then the contractor can pump over the porta dams, the clean water. Dewatering separate from that, once they actually are pumping out of the groundwater, they will treat that water either through a dirt bag, is what we spec'd, or if they prefer a frac tank, one of the two. But we have spec'd a typical dirt bag for dewatering, but at a minimum. But we think the contractor could go with a frac tank just because there's going to be a lot of dewatering to do. So it's just going to be easier for them, most likely.
How deep do you propose to go into the water where this porta dam is proposed?
It's only actually a couple feet. It's probably 3 feet max, I want to say. Maybe a little bit more at the boat launch, the toe of the boat launch.
Do you mean for excavation?
Where the porta dam is?
Where you put the porta dam, it has to be deep. It has to contain water to keep the place dry, right? So
yeah.
How deep does that have to go?
It sits on the bottom of the lake. It doesn't really get driven in. It kind of just sits on the bottom for the most part. And I think do you know where it extends on the boat launch there? I think it goes about 4 or 5 feet into the lake.
Yeah.
If the lake is at a high enough level. We've seen that whole area where the bull launch is almost completely exposed before.
How deep does it go? For the retaining wall?
The foot of the retaining wall is at elevation 111, and the top of the retaining wall is proposed at elevation 117. But the depth of the retaining wall, I believe, I'd have to look at the detail to confirm, but it embedded at least two
Yeah,
feet.
it's about embedded about a foot, and then there's a foot of stone, so about 2 feet. I think you're about right there. Yeah, if you're talking about the retaining wall itself and not the porta dam.
No, I was talking about the porta dam.
Yeah, that doesn't really get embedded. It kind of just sits along the bottom.
So the limits of work generally follow at the deepest point, like maybe elevation 109 or 108, and the ordinary high water, or the average elevation of the lake, is about 114.5, and the top elevation of the porta dam is at elevation 116. So there's some freeboard there.
Hopefully that answers. Yeah, it's about 4, 5, 6 feet, depending on where you are. Is that will be what's held back in terms of water depth.
What's the status of the stormwater review?
I'm sorry?
The status of the stormwater review?
Oh, first set of comments have been received.
Monday, yeah, we received
We
them
just
Monday.
received them, so we'll be working to address those comments before the next planning board
Okay.
meeting.
Did we see those comments? Were those?
I emailed them, but I
Yeah.
didn't, they didn't get in your packet, I'm sorry.
No
I
worries.
don't
I'm
know
just.
why.
Horsley Witten? Yeah, I saw this.
Okay.
So will we see this again then if we're still? Okay, so peer review. We still want to see
Oh,
the end
yeah.
of that before.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're not
Okay.
closing tonight.
So my concerns, I'm looking at this one, are pre-treatment going into some of these bioretention basins. I realize there isn't a lot of opportunity to do pre-treatment here. I would like to see that addressed in the O&M plan with maybe more frequent cleanings.
Sure.
Because it's going to see more sedimentation in there. It's going to affect,
yeah.
obviously.
Yep.
Also, did we do any test pits to figure out where groundwater is?
Borings.
underneath these?
We have
We
soil
did?
borings, and they're
Okay.
included in the stormwater
And it's below the
report.
depth of our, like, what'd you say, it's 54-inch sandwich for this thing?
You mean the
Oh,
bottom?
30
of
to
the-
48, the bioretention, it's staying out of that.
Yeah, the
It's
water
a-
levels are staying out of the what we saw in our borings. Yes, it's
Great.
it's approximately 2 feet below. Yep.
Yeah, minimum, yeah.
Yep.
Along the road.
Okay, I'm good.
Questions?
I just have a question about the wall. So you're gonna, I would think you put the new wall inside of the old wall and then remove the old wall. But you're gonna do it the other way, you're gonna put it outside and then take the old wall out?
The procedure will be, you kind of have to do it at the same time because they're conflicting with each other. It's not entirely inside, it does overlap a little bit. So we're gonna have to de-water, put the new wall in, get the old wall out, put the new wall in, put the boat launch in, and then build that area all back up, get the dewatering out as soon as we're done the work in the lake, and then we're working interior from that point on.
So based on this, how far, are you going out farther into the lake or are you pretty much staying where you are?
The limits of work show the extent of the temporary impacts into the lake, and that is necessary for the heavy equipment to build the boat launch and the retaining wall. And there's also some minor regrading in front of the new retaining wall.
So, and all these trees that are here now, they're actually in the water, aren't they?
They're growing out of the retaining wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're almost holding the existing retaining wall up right now. So we've proposed anything larger than 6 inches in diameter will be a 1-to-1 replacement. I think if you go to the next sheet, Amy, we show the native tree plantings along the pathway between the circular driveway and the boat launch ramp.
We're trying to keep the trees a little further away from the lake in general, so the roots aren't reaching it.
Well, I agree, because, you're just looking for a problem with having the tree roots and stuff.
Yeah, yep.
But I'd like to see you get rid of them all. I mean, there's no gain in having trees in the boat ramp area, unless you're on the inside, not in the lake, but on the inside of the parking areas and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like on the
yeah,
other side-
I mean,
on the
yeah.
other side of the wall, if you wanna put some.
Yeah, we
trees
can
or
always
bushes.
move them, this is, the trees are easy to move if you would like to see them moved.
My personal preference is to get all the trees away from the wall, for maintenance.
Existing trees you're talking.
Existing trees.
He's talking about chopping down all the existing trees.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see what you're
that-
saying. Yeah,
that will
clearing that
happen.
area,
And
yeah.
then and then if there's any new plantings, you put them on the other side of the wall.
Yep.
Yes,
On-
yes,
On the
yes.
land side?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I'm all set for now.
No questions here.
Joe?
I got a few. So, actually, the fresh one is the tree question. I want to make sure we're really consistent with what we're allowing and what we're expecting on tree removal, because we played the heavy on many in a butter with unauthorized tree removals and holding them to very strict standards on replacement. I want to make sure we're consistent with what we do ourselves to what we've done to others and made them do. So, specific to the ramp itself, is this is just rooftop carry-in type of, there's no trailer-in type of launching, or is it small trailer launching?
No, the intent is for it to be continued to use as a hand carry boat launch, so kayaks, canoes, that type of boat.
The only trailer that will be allowed is the fire department's.
Yep.
Which is probably why that ramp is extending as much as it is.
It is wide
There's
as
no
it
other
is.
reason for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no reason for that whatsoever.
The only thing we accounted for was we needed to extend it to where it met existing grades, and we needed to keep it at a 12.5% slope because that's the typical standard for a walking boat launch.
Mhm.
So that's why it really extends that far. If it was shorter, it would be a lot steeper, and it would be tougher to walk on.
And I think it was Al, might have been Lou who asked the question about, compared to what's there now, does it go in further? And the answer is yes, it does go in further, about 5 or 6 feet, maybe even more, into the lake. And I'm just looking at the topo, there's a couple of tick mark references between the existing conditions and the proposed condition, which tells me it is going further in on a permanent basis, and it's what it is.
Yep.
My question, you spoke of compensatory flood storage, I understand exactly what that is. But when you have a lake that's a reservoir whose level is who's managed by the very owner that's gonna be owning this ramp, that flood elevation is arbitrary.
Oh, yeah.
It's what FEMA says it is, but it's what's compensatory when we draw it down 18 inches in the summertime, or even further, right?
Yeah, and it's a zone A, so it has a delineation, but it doesn't have an elevation reference to it, and I'm guessing that's most likely why, without seeing, any modeling data on it.
So, one of the things we do as a commission is we want to avoid, minimize, mitigate, and part of the minimization is any future need to do things. And when I think of pervious pavers in a surface condition, there's a certain amount of wear and tear and weathering due to the atmosphere. In an inundated state, in a fluctuating water condition with ice, how durable is this pervious paver open grid surface? Concrete, poured concrete reinforced, wears out with the chafing of ice in the winter. So what's going to prevent us from an ongoing, continuing maintenance effort on this ramp, given the materials you've chosen? Because it looks like you've got a vulnerability here.
They actually have that same style of ramp on the Merrimack River that the fire department uses for access. It's almost the same exact type of pavers where they're open cores and they're filled.
The river's
with
flowing and
gravel.
seldom freezes over. Where the lake does freeze over.
Okay, it doesn't freeze there.
Yeah, so, but in the river it doesn't. So I guess the concern is the durability of that, and there's, I think by virtue of allowing this in the water, we're looking at an ongoing maintenance effort that we're gonna probably have to recognize, we're gonna have to permit, or at least through this process, we're permitting it. I understand the whole turbidity curtain and the cofferdam approach. That portable frame, you're getting up into that elevation of 5-6 feet where it's not as effective as it is in the shallower areas you're trying to hold out. So I'm gonna leave that to the contractor to recognize, yes, to brace it properly, but getting it to seal off of the bottom becomes a little bit more of a challenge because your hydrostatic pressure is that much higher, and it's gonna wanna bleed under.
It is. Yeah.
Meaning your dewatering during construction is gonna be that much more aggressive, I think.
Yep.
But the contractor's gonna have to deal with that. I think in a similar sense we just dealt with the SWA project, we're gonna have to probably just give a performance standard of what we expect on that discharge out of the dirt bag, or whatever dewatering activity they're using, whether it's a rain for rent, which is proprietary to anybody, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Frac
yes.
tank or a dirt bag.
Correct.
You had mentioned a swing gate, but I heard bollards at the ramp itself.
Yep.
But is there something up at the
Yeah,
Great
if
Pond
you
Road as
go
well?
to sheet, yep, that right there. So to replace the existing gate, we're proposing a double swing gate. And it's right after the paved driveway.
So what's the thought?
apron.
It's
Oh, this
opened and closed by the town officials.
Mhm.
So it's not like we
Oh,
have
this
traffic
one,
with
right
trailers or with
Double
boats
swing
out in the
gate
street
here.
stopping to open this gate.
Unopened.
When it's open, they can come in, and when it's not open,
Similar-
they have to drive by,
Similar to how the gate is managed today.
okay? And I just want to reemphasize that whole concern with the trees, like, whatever it is we're doing to minimize maintenance of the wall, what we have to end up with is a equal or better forest replacing whatever is being altered, and we gotta do that in a pretty robust way, because I do know that, you know, we held some other abutters visible from the station who are gonna look across the lake and say, hey, what the hell's wrong with us? Why'd you come after us? And they're doing it too. So I wanna make sure we're consistent on that. And I think, other than that, I can't see anything right now. I'll obviously hold off until stormwater review is complete, but pretty good project.
Any abutters here for this project? Anybody want to be heard? None answer, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so take a motion to continue.
I move that we continue.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next one, 242, no deal, DEP number, 186 Bradford Street. Was it no deal?
On the park?
I almost said no DOT number. Close enough.
Alrighty. Okay, so this project involves abandoning the existing septic system and connecting to the town sewer via a force main and pump tank. The existing septic connection is at the rear of the house. Work to take place within a 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland, and the new pump tank will be approximately 26 feet from the wetland. The force main will traverse the side yard, continue under Bradford Street and up Settlers Ridge within the sidewalk there, and connect to an existing sewer manhole located within a town easement on 30 Settlers Ridge. If I'm reading the detail sheets correctly, the bottom of the new pump tank will be at elevation 196. Estimated seasonal high groundwater is at elevation 200, and the finished grade is at about 202. And again, if I'm reading the details right, it looks like the first of 115 feet of the force main will be just below elevation 200. And obviously, this triggers our suspicion that dewatering will be required. I have brought that attention to the design engineer, Bill Dufresne. There is a wetland on the opposite side of Settlers Ridge with a detention basin in between. And I have asked the engineer to scale that wetland on with the buffer zone, but work probably won't be in that buffer zone. But I thought it important to at least show that there's another wetland over there. Homeowner is here with us this evening. A DEP file number has not been issued, so we cannot close. Plan revisions are likely. I think you guys are gonna wanna see some sort of dewatering spec, and then the other wetlands. I would also recommend that all the catch basins in the vicinity be protected with silt sacks. There's a few in Settlers Ridge, and that's it in a nutshell. And
Jack?
Yeah, it looks like a good project. My only question is, has to do with, within the wetland protection subzones, specifically the 25 and 50. Would this force main, will that be contained at all, you know, like in another pipe?
My understanding is that it'll be a 2-inch force main, 520 feet from the back bags to the sewer connection.
So Jack, you're asking if it's gonna be sleeved? Is that what
Yes.
you're asking?
Yes, sleeved in, within at least the 25-foot zone, if not the 25 and 50. So, it's,
Well, they're using Schedule 40, so
yeah.
I would say that they wouldn't, but unless you require it. I mean, normally they don't.
Well, I know we required it this year on a project where we were running parallel with a driveway that went
Yeah, but that
over
was-
a culvert.
Yeah, that was going over a culvert. This isn't, right? This is just going right in the ground.
This is within the 25-foot.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. No, oh, yeah, it is within the 25-foot. Looks like it. No disturb. But, you know, it's a common construction technique and one that I think makes sense in this situation. That's all I have.
Brad?
Was it investigated to take it the other way around the house to avoid the 25?
I don't think it was considered. I know it'd be cost prohibitive to go through the house.
No, no.
But yeah, no, to go.
Well,
Go ahead.
you mean the
Make
other
it
side?
closer.
Yeah.
The wetland is
It's close.
right up here,
Oh,
too.
it's on the north too, huh?
Yeah, it wraps around, so.
Yeah, he's
they're-
trapped back there.
Yeah,
Out of curiosity, who's going to maintain this system after it's installed? Is it the homeowner or is it the town?
I believe the pump will be maintained by the homeowner. The pipe itself will be maintained by the contractor for a period, I believe, of 1 year. And then I think the pipe that is on the public land will be maintained, I believe, by the town.
I hate taking ownership of these low flow things. It's not a conservation issue, but
No, I know.
I disagree with everything that was just said. I don't believe that's the case. It's private all the way up to
All the way.
till it goes gravity.
It's all the way till it
Yeah,
gets to
this-
the manhole.
The pipe in the pump station, the whole darn thing's gonna be private.
Even in the public way, if you install it, it's your pipe.
Yeah. Begs the question, permission to be in the right of way, but that's a separate
Yeah.
issue as well.
well, Tim Willett signed
He did?
the application, I made sure, yep. Or the application to connect.
To connect.
So,
I have a force main in my garage and I have to maintain it.
Yeah, I want to. I own the pipe.
I've seen, they're trying to get these approved for a lot of public places right now. I've had to do a lot of peer reviews that include them. But anyway, I digress. I agree with the silt sacks and all the catch basins. Other than that, I'm good.
I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
will we need dewatering spec, though?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How deep is there's no depth on the pipe? Did I see, is there?
Well,
Huh?
it's at the
You can
bottom.
scale it.
What's that?
You can visually scale it from the
Well,
profile.
yeah, it's,
Well,
yeah,
would
do I know
think
exactly? No.
With the distance that this is, there's probably gonna be multiple dewatering pits. You're not gonna dewater from when you're down here to go back this way, right?
Yeah. Well, hopefully, when you hit
Good.
past Station 1, you get above it. You get above 200 estimated seasonal high water table. That would be on the plan view sheet at the bottom.
Oh, the bottom half,
Cross
yes,
section.
down here.
Yeah, that.
It's a pretty good elevation. So what I'm saying is, how long, from where the house is to where the manhole is, what's the distance approximately?
Oh,
So so
oh,
you can't just, you can't have just one dewatering pit.
oh.
We go from 0 plus 50 to, looks to 50, so about 500 feet.
How much?
Is there about 500 feet?
It's a long way.
If you can believe the station.
Yeah, it's about 520 feet.
So we'll have to condition it to, where we should put at least two, I would think. What do you think, Brad?
At least to what?
I mean, we have dewatering pit at the house, by the house, but there's one for 500 feet.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna need to see more than one, but we're gonna require a dewatering specification before we're gonna,
Right.
yeah.
My understanding is the trenches will be about 2 feet deep. I don't know if that's a consideration.
2 feet.
2 feet deep, the trench that they're gonna be digging.
If I'm wrong, don't these low-pressure systems the pipes stay full? How are we gonna prevent that from freezing?
I've got so many questions when you get to me on, from the sewer design perspective, that just, I mean, this is terrible. I mean, Tim will, I'm sure is gonna dive into it in more detail, hopefully he already has.
Yeah.
But this, from a force main perspective, as a private pressurized force main, doesn't work. It's shallow, it's uninsulated, it's gonna freeze, it has, how many, it's got 15 feet of static head
Yeah.
with only a single check valve holding it. I mean, this thing doesn't work.
Is that our jurisdiction? Do we
It's
get
not
to-
our
do we get to talk
jurisdiction,
about
but Son of a
that?
gun, but.
'Cause I'd
I'm gonna-
I'd
I was
love
gonna
to,
hang
but I
my
don't
hat
think we
on
can.
Well,
the check
if it's
valve
gonna-
at the pump station nearest the wetland is not properly protected. Redesign it, make it properly protected. In the areas where it is below, above frost line,
Yeah.
and within sufficient cover, protect it properly within our jurisdiction. Everything else is a design, substandard design from public works perspective. But stuff in our jurisdiction, from right up to station 200, is redesign it, not approvable, as submitted. Redesign it. Too shallow, it's gonna freeze, not properly protected from static head, not properly protected with check valves, and no manual gate valve to isolate it in the event that your pump does fail, the whole damn thing drains down into the chamber, overflows right into the wetland. There's no protection.
Well, I think the chamber is designed to hold an adequate amount of, in case of a failure, but if there's a backflush, they designed the chambers to accommodate that much back drain. And I could be wrong about the depth of the 2 feet. I thought you said it was 2 feet deep. It could be deeper. I'm not entirely sure.
So, that's a good start, Rick. Again, I jumped in only because Brad started, and I was sitting there chomping.
I got you worked up.
Give them the list that they're gonna need, because it's gonna get continued as soon as you're
Yeah.
done.
I mean, if you look at the grades in the lower left-hand corner, station 0.0, the station itself, you've got a finished top of foundation at 202.24. You've got 201 as his proposed riser and cover to finish grade. And then you've got a whole bunch of piping in there within 18 inches down to that 200 elevation. You can't put all those fittings in 18 inches. They don't even fit. You can't build this thing with these grades that are here. So I'd say, from station 00 to 2+0, and anything that's within our jurisdiction beyond 2+0, redesign and make it provide frost protection, backflow protection, and buildability protection, and address the dewatering conditions.
because that is our jurisdiction and it doesn't work.
Okay, Amy, you got all that? Because I'm gonna move to continue this because
Yep.
this has to be redesigned and it doesn't have a DEP number anyway.
No, I know.
So we're wasting a lot of,
Yeah, I'm just surprised.
Brad, you see what I'm saying?
I'm surprised your engineer,
I think-
why isn't your engineer here
I
tonight?
do think it was a
Because he knew, sorry, he knew it would have to be,
What's that?
he knew it would have to be done again. He knew we would have to come here again, because I believe Amy already asked for
Yeah,
additional
my
information,
changes.
so we know we'll have to come up again. And I think, his cost is about $500 to be here for this. So he's trying to save me some money.
Move to continue.
Well, Bill Dufresne can watch this too.
what's that?
He can watch the recording of the meeting.
He's gonna
and
have to.
get it straight
We
from the
have
horse's
too
mouth.
much other
Okay.
business we gotta get
No, I
to, so. Motion to continue.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, in light of what we just heard about why Mr. Dufresne's not here, I move that we continue 242-1899 to the next meeting.
Second.
So he has no desire to be here tonight.
Yeah.
Right in, this one.
I know, we got it over here.
So that's
All those in favor say
September
aye.
11th is our next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, I knew it. Okay, turn the page. Okay,
We're on the back page.
242, no DP number, 82 Liberty.
All right, hello everybody, I'm here for that. All right. So
Wait,
hi.
Excuse me.
Hold on one second.
Oh, yep.
Oh,
You
I'm
get the
just gonna-
recommendation for her, and if we have any questions, we'll ask you.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's fine.
I'm just trying to find the plan here. All righty, I'll just give an overview, and then you guys can get in the weeds. All right. So this is an after-the-fact NOI for parts of the work and an NOI for proposed work that hasn't been undertaken yet. The unauthorized work revolved around demolition of a rear deck patio and a hot tub, which resulted in the water line being broken and needing reconnection. We put a cease and desist and required a notice of intent. So after the fact work includes the rear deck and stairs demolition to be rebuilt in a larger footprint, rear patio demo and rebuild in a larger footprint, spa replacement. These features are in the 25 and the 50. Newly proposed work includes a garage addition with the deck and a pantry connection. The deck is partially within the 50. The garage and the pantry is outside of the 50. Installation of an upgraded septic system as well is proposed. The waiver request does include planting mitigation, but I did recommend that it speak about the rear, the activities in the rear, and I thought that perhaps they'd want to revert to the pre-existing footprints, because I'm not sure if the commission has appetite to allow expansion in the back there, because it's really close to the wetland. I had just asked that they provide or look at the FEMA prelim floodplain maps, because I think floodplain has grown on that property based on their flood study. Let's see. And just a couple other details, not sure if the rear deck was gonna get stairs to the patio or off the west side of the house, so that's what we're looking at. Project engineer is here this evening, so. And I believe septic system is in review with the Board of Health.
Yep. And they looked at it.
Jack, any
It-
questions?
From a design perspective, it won't change, just finalizing some notes at this point.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
I guess I'll start with the patio extension.
Yep.
Is that that's a stone patio you're proposing, or?
Oh, all right, so you're talking about the extensions as part of this new?
Well, let's start with what's already there.
So, yeah, so what was there was a stone impervious patio that was there.
Okay.
So it wasn't any special paver, it was just a stone,
Yep.
probably like a bluestone patio. It's gone, they had to rip the whole thing up when they replaced the water line. So they're gonna put it back, same type of material. And the extension is basically just 2 feet out from where the spa is, just for access around it. You know, as mentioned, it is an expansion, it wasn't there previously, but they wanted to, you know, at least, you know, try for it, because that's, you know, that would be their preference, is to have some kind of access all the way around the spa and from where the deck is. But material-wise, it would be probably like impervious bluestone and something similar.
Just so we're clear, because I'm gonna get confused as it gets around the table here. When you say was, I wanna know when was.
Yep.
Because what we had was a permit issued for the house that did not have a certificate of compliance, correct?
It does.
It did,
It
way
does,
back.
yes,
Yep.
way back, yep.
Anything that deviates from that original as-built condition, any alteration out there done without any permit is in violation.
Yep, yep.
So when you say was, I wanna go all the way back to that. Nothing that's happened in the interim, the various little things that they've done and didn't get caught on until the last minute. I don't wanna hear any of that. I
Yep.
wanna compare everything you're about to say to what was in place and approved when we granted certificate of compliance.
Yeah, so.
Everything else is
Yep, so
I mean,
a
it's
very.
just minutia.
Yep, so a very long time ago, according to the plans that we have, there was the house, there was the deck, which is the same deck that they were working on. There was a hot tub, spa, whatever you want to call it, that was there, and then there was the patio. So in the patio, as is kind of shown on the existing conditions plan. So if you look at the existing conditions plan, the one that's on the top, that is a reflection on what you're talking about looks like. So call that times 0. That's what this shows. So the patio like that, deck like that, and the spa that used to be there. So many years in the past, I don't know exactly how recently, the spa for whatever reason got taken out before the current applicants acquired the house. And then when I say that the patio got removed, I mean within the last like 3 to 4 months when the enforcement order was issued. Does that clarify it?
It does.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so about the patio expansion.
Yep.
Is that going to be in similar type materials, impervious pavers?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I'm not sure if I'm reading this right, but it looks like there's an arrow that points to the proposed patio extension, and it points to a line. Yeah, right there. Okay, now that line goes from a point on the top that is near the corner of the old stone patio.
Yep.
And it extends all the way down, well past the proposed spa, to a corner that kind of lines up with the new proposed corner of the deck.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So that part that you're describing, yeah, is not at any point was not existing at any point.
Okay.
So that would be all new. We understand that.
Does that go under the deck also?
No, because
No,
they're
okay.
and right
Okay.
now on the plan they're just kind of footprints that are shown, so we can kind of show the stairs and everything. But the deck would probably be a similar underlaying with stone, how it would be, but it wouldn't extend under the deck. It would kind of meet where you would exit the deck.
Okay. Okay. It just looks like there's a lot of proposed impervious area very close to the wetland line on this proposal, and that's pretty close.
Yep.
Based on our track record. The proposed garage looks like it's, you know, in a good spot. Well, looks like it seems to be well outside the 50. So that would be my main concern, is a slight expansion of the deck, but a relatively large extension of the patio.
Mhm.
Okay, so those are possible monkey wrenches to throw into this. And your, I think your replication areas look like they make sense.
Okay.
All set.
Thanks.
Are there any waivers associated with the garage work?
The only waiver is a portion of the connecting deck.
Oh.
The new deck, like off the opposite side of the house.
Oh, it is a little.
And
Did we
then-
find out that, you said decks weren't allowed in the 52, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what their waiver
Yeah.
talked about
I
mostly.
misinterpreted them. You're right.
I don't think you're gonna get much support from this board over the expansion of that patio going closer to the wetlands there. I think I'm gonna go for that one. I'll listen to the other board members on the other deck closer to the proposed garage. And then I think I'm all set for what I need to do.
So there are waiver requests in this? As it stands right now, he needs waivers, right?
He does.
Is he in front of the ZBA as well?
Yes.
We're going to be,
Yes,
yes.
they're going to be, yes.
So we shouldn't even be talking about this
Until,
until
The
he
waiver
either
from
gets it
ZBA.
or doesn't get
right.
what he's asking for at ZBW. Everything, everything could change. We require all permits, all other boards to be.
Yeah, yeah.
So
At least, right.
some,
So, yeah, they
I
haven't been heard
apologize for
yet, but
sounding
they're-
crass, but I'm not gonna discuss this with you because you don't have your variance yet. You may not get it, and that's gonna change the whole picture of this thing, so I'm gonna defer.
Okay, that's fine.
If there's an outstanding board to address this, because
So-
they can change everything.
Yeah, can I just make one point about that? Is that, so, yeah, we understand that, this is just kind of the order of things with how meetings are scheduled. ZBA tends to be very far out, and we wanted to get the enforcement part out of the way, so I'm glad we're talking about the, rear of the house, that's kind of the important part. So comments about that would be very helpful, but as far as the, ZBA goes, it's for the side setback.
Yeah, for the garage.
Basically, if we don't get it, we're just gonna reduce the scale of the project, maybe just chop off the part that's outside the setback, something along those lines, or maybe not do it at all. But we would not propose, because this is really what works for conservation within the, the bylaws and the regs that conservation has. It would be hard to do something very substantially different from this if ZBA doesn't give us approval. So I totally understand if you don't wanna, ask questions or talk about it, but we did wanna open the hearing and especially talk about the work to the rear, which is the important part, because we have to resolve that anyway.
You still have an enforcement order in place, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So you're under cease and desist anyway, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Okay, all right, very good.
And like I said,
All set, Mr.
I'll just throw, expanding the deck into the 25. I don't think it's gonna fly, but I'm just giving you a heads up.
Okay, do you mean the deck or the patio?
Both.
Patio, excuse me.
Probably both.
Yeah.
Probably both, yeah.
Well, the deck is just like a
Yeah.
little bit of a different
We
shape.
consider
I don't know
the
if it
25 sacred, so,
Yep,
just to give you a heads up.
yep.
Sean?
I'm going to withhold comment, but anything expanding inside the 25, I am going to oppose.
Joe?
Yeah, I understand the zoning question is kind of mutually exclusive from, it's either they're gonna build a garage or not, or they're gonna make the garage small to make it meet zoning. So, but if the goal is, if the garage is going to be there in some form, and the deck as proposed is looking to get to within 40.7 feet, because you wanna box off that corner to connect the house to the garage via, or whether they're connecting or they're simply nestling the two between each other, I have no stomach for that deck getting a waiver from the 50 for the no build. In a very similar vein, I'm 100% opposed to increasing the patio area of any sort, of any material at all. And if that proposal of a deck alters what was originally the deck, then I would oppose that as well.
does.
So regardless of the zoning issue, I mean, the things they're asking for, I'm not gonna tell you I'm gonna vote opposed in opposition to it, so you might need to take that back to your client for the next, prior to the next meeting. I have to go back, if he did I heard it said earlier when I asked for the clarification that this upper existing condition plan is based on the as-built plan that we approved, was based on the as-built plan that we approved from the original order of conditions. Because I thought we never did get, did we issue a
Yes.
certificate of compliance on this?
Yep.
So in essence, we granted waivers in the past on this particular?
Oh, yeah, it was,
I mean, this is not that old. I remember this coming in, kind of. How old is this? That original filing?
242343.
92?
242039. Is the DEP file number.
Yeah, no, it's before
And
I
the
got here.
COC was issued.
I got here in 93.
As-built says 89.
This is a Richard
89.
Doucette
All
plan.
right, so that's how, so the existing condition very well could have been in compliance.
This is a Richard Doucette plan, so.
I
All
did
right.
provide them with the as-built plan.
Okay, then
So,
I'm not as surprised as I thought he might have been.
and like, the as-built plan didn't show a patio, it showed the deck. I did unearth an approval for the spa, the hot tub by somebody, I forget who, but,
So this, right, all due respect there, this needs to be continued.
Right.
Go
Yes.
through the ZBA, and then they gotta go back to the drawing board and come back to us.
Right.
yes.
So I'm gonna move that it be continued.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
So,
Thank-
but
thank you.
what makes sense to continue, because our next meeting is 2 weeks away.
I think, can you do the second one in October?
When's he going to the
Second one in
ZBA?
October?
Early October, first
Yeah, 'cause
When do you
they-
go to the
they had-
ZBA, do you know?
October, so second meeting in October.
Okay, yeah,
if you could do
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Second meeting.
Okay, second meeting in October.
That makes
If we
sense.
need more time, I'll tell you.
Because the
Okay.
ZBA only meets once a month.
Yeah.
And they get paid more than we do.
Have to go to have as many meetings.
All right, so second meeting in October.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
thanks for your time, everybody.
Thanks
Nice to
very
meet you.
much.
Nothing, don't do anything up there in the meanwhile, okay?
I'm sorry?
Don't do anything in the meanwhile. Cease and
Yeah,
desist.
we're still under.
I'm not doing it. I'll tell them not to do it.
That's the
Yeah,
way it
no,
works.
there's-
That's the way you should do
All right,
it.
thanks,
All right,
Thank
buddy.
you.
All right, so enforcement orders, we don't have to, we're just gonna leave that in place.
Yeah,
Remains
so we
in
don't
place,
need to
Mr.
do
Chairman.
anything with
Okay,
that.
next one is 129 Forest Street.
All righty. All righty. Hold on. Oh, boy. All right, so the commission will recall, this is enforcement order for unauthorized construction of a patio in the 50. We discovered that there was an outstanding order of conditions for an addition that needed to be closed out. So we asked them to get an existing conditions plan that will help serve as a COC plan, but moreover, to figure out really how much of the patio and how close is it to the wetland and how much of it in the 50, to figure out if the commission would even entertain it, if it had come before us. So you guys have the as-built plan in your packet. I've got it up in the screen. So there's a little corner in the 25, and, you know, all of it's in the 50. And granted, parts of the house are in the 50 as well. But, so, there we have it. And I think the commission will have to decide whether, you know, whether it would have considered issuing a waiver for it in the if it came before you under a notice of intent. I think if you guys really don't think you would have, I wouldn't put them through a notice of intent process to get a denial. I just don't think that would be fair. So I think being honest
All right,
about.
so you just want to poll the commission?
Well, I'm not gonna I'm just saying what I think that you guys should, I
I
would
understand.
not want them to
Yeah.
go through the process of filing a notice of intent for a project that they're just gonna get denied for, so.
I get it.
I think we all agree.
Okay,
So So just so we're clear, though, there's nothing before us. We're just looking at
No.
we're looking at what might be a project, and we're gonna tell you if we agree with it, yes or
Well,
no.
we're under an enforcement order, a cease and desist.
Yeah, but there's no
Right.
notice,
No,
RDA, nothing's
no.
been filed.
We just
Okay.
said, go get an
So
existing
this is-
conditions plan.
So just so we're clear, this is a poll.
And
Okay.
I
the
guess.
poll would be that for a potential RDA or an NOI.
Whether or not we'd approve it or
Whether or
not.
not,
If they come in with any type of vehicle, would we approve it or not? That's what they want to know. That's what they're asking.
I know.
Are we gonna make them take it out?
No,
Or, or would we have?
But I'm
said,
trying
yeah,
to, I'm
maybe-
trying to be
yeah.
expeditious,
Right,
and
I
I'm trying to
know.
be fair to the parties.
Right, yeah.
What, they want to know, yes or no, would we approve it? Okay, Mr. Maben.
I think the question is different though, is would we have approved it if they applied for it before they did it? Would we have approved
Right.
it? Yeah.
So I understand, okay.
As proposed, I would say no. We would never approve this.
We are just talking about the patio and fire pit. That's it. Yeah. It's unlikely that would have been approved.
So my understanding is the patio encroaches 2 feet into the 25 no disturb zone,
Yeah,
and the rest is in the 50.
yeah.
So is there any reason why that 2 feet can't go away?
No,
I mean, if you
No,
look
there
at,
isn't.
if
There
that's,
is no
if
reason
if
why
that's
it
the
can't get
anchor on the
chopped off.
project, my opinion
well,
would
it's a
be,
patio in the 50-foot no-build zone. Patios are not allowed in the 50-foot.
we don't allow them at all.
So basically, would we
No.
have granted them the waiver?
No, I'm trying to get something clear. I may be confused on the law.
We do not.
We do not, okay, all right, then, if we do not, I would not have voted for it.
I would not vote for it.
Same here. I mean, if we were talking 2 feet, 48 feet instead of 50, and an alternatives analysis showed some reasoning behind it in the office replication, we might have considered, but it's not even that, it's nowhere near that close. It's, so I hate to say it, we never would have considered this under any circumstances. So what that means is that what's out there is in fact a violation. We would order it, I suspect we would order it to be removed and establish a timetable for that to be happening. And, you know, by what we just discussed is, you know, don't even bother filing
Right.
an NOI, because we already know what the outcome is gonna be.
Can I ask a question? Yeah, so we had discussions before about if there was an existing patio there, and there wasn't. Certainly, we made modifications, we made it bigger. But we've gone back over the aerial views as much as possible. I don't know when the setbacks changed, what year. I don't know. From, it used to be 25, now it's 50, or, you know. But we have pictures of a smaller patio there, but, you know, is there anything we can do as far as that? You know,
If they can figure out the limits of that, they have by right.
Well, you know, I mean, the house is within the 50. They approved that.
At the time of that addition, it was a 30-foot no-build zone for some reason, I forget why. But we have an old as-built with a 30-foot no-build zone for this
Yeah.
property.
Right.
But
You know,
that was when that was
when-
approved.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's
Is that-
changed.
We have the original NOI, the record's still available, it's not one of the ones that have been
yeah.
lost, so we have the original.
Should, yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we didn't, what we didn't have was an as-built plan in order for that original one to have a certificate of
Right.
compliance. So if there was a patio shown to be proposed as part of that original plan, I suspect there wasn't, because we wouldn't be having this conversation. But if whatever was proposed as part of the original plan, and if it was smaller than this, and I guess it was permitted back then, theoretically, I mean, I would consider allowing them to put it back in place in accordance with that original plan.
Put back in place what was there.
What was originally approved.
What was approved.
If a patio was part of that, I think they're entitled to putting it back.
So I would agree with you on that.
Well,
Okay.
Which is what, I think what your concern was.
Yeah, but
The smaller
the,
one.
I'm just recalling the conversation. I don't think we ever put a patio in our plan.
No.
I think it was just there.
We
So
were
the
told-
question was, when did it get there?
Right,
And so
and
that's
we
why
were told when we
wanted to
put the
know.
first, well, what happened is when we went to put the additions on, I had a dog pen back behind the boulder wall. And whoever come out said to me, you can't have that there, you gotta move it up here. And I said, well, if we move it up there, it's just gonna be a patio. And they said, well, that's fine. I said, do I need to get a permit? They said, no. You don't need to get a permit to build a patio. And I was like, okay. Nobody ever mentioned the wetlands. As a matter of fact, this whole deal, we wouldn't be here. I'm glad we're here because I don't want any BS when I go to sell the property, right? But when the reason why Amy come out in the first place is we put a heating system in a hot water tank. And they thought it was gonna be a saddle tank, and it was never gonna be a saddle tank. So why you come out in the first place, I don't even know. Because realistically, that tank was legal where I put it without a permit. Because it's just a 100-gallon tank.
All right,
So that's how we found it.
so how?
That's how you found it.
Well, yeah.
All right, so
And
how
that's
do,
fine.
Joe, how do we direct them? So
That's
we
what,
can-
yeah, that's what we're trying to
How do we
figure out.
direct them? What do we give them for advice? Not advice, an opinion, since we're rendering an opinion on this rare occasion.
I don't know where to go. It's non-compliant. I'm not sure what you could put up in that corner that we would have approved because it's so darn close. In fact, that corner of the house itself is 38 feet from the wetland,
Right.
so any sort of patio up in that corner wouldn't be permitted at
We're
all.
saying 30 feet.
So, but I'm saying the only thing that we could ever even could possibly consider would be if there was a patio originally approved.
So if you had
And
an approval for a
we could
patio,
let them put it back to that condition, but we're not hearing that
But
it was.
that wasn't the conversation before, it was just if, as Mr. Manzi brought it up, if you could prove that there was a pre-existing, it didn't say anything about an approval. So did you really need an approval back whenever, when we first put it there? I don't know.
Do you remember what year that was?
Oh, I want to say 2002, right? Isn't that?
When the addition was done.
Yeah.
Right, so this is the approved plan for the addition.
Right.
Yeah.
What's that circle in the corner?
Drywall.
Oh, drywall. Boy, it looks like a fire pit.
I wish it was.
Are the rocks that you're talking about that you moved the ones shown in this plan?
The rocks are still there.
Oh, those rocks are still there?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said you moved rocks to the
Oh,
the patio.
No, I moved the patio blocks from down, they were beyond the rocks.
Okay,
Down in
never
the,
mind.
because that's where we used to put the dog during the day. And then when they came to approve the additions, they said, you can't keep that there. That's okay, so I took it out and I put it up on top, and they said that was fine.
Okay, I understand.
And it wasn't a permit process, because we didn't think we had to go through a permit process.
so Amy, look, unless you have some type of documentation somewhere in the archives,
That says a patio was approved?
yeah.
I don't.
I mean, without that, we really have nothing to hang our hat on. As much as we'd all like to help.
I wish I did.
We
but I
need
just
something,
don't.
we need something concrete to help with, or we're just being arbitrary, and we can't start that trail.
Do we have aerial imagery for this property that showed anything?
I think it's really hard to see.
Okay,
It's very hard.
It is. In
It
some
would-
of it, you can see something, the pavers, you can see them, but they're smaller than here.
I
It
think
was
the
in one of the
walkway extended
emails.
as far as it does.
That would be a subjective interpretation.
Well,
We
It would.
we actually have an approved plan for the, I mean, that shows
Yeah,
what was
from
there,
when
and
the
it
house was built,
wasn't there.
And then when the additions came
Yeah.
along and.
The problem is, we're not trying,
No, I got you.
I know.
but we have to be consistent.
Neither
too.
are we. I just want
We're
the
trying to
least
find a
amount of work
way.
I have to do to take that out of there. That's all I want to do. I was kind of hoping that we could bring it back to the 25 and just take back a few blocks and, 2 feet of block on that corner.
What about the exception for previous disturbance? Is there previous disturbance there that can be documented?
Can't-
I mean, I'm just asking the
I've never
question.
been on the site until the
Gotcha.
tank was
Well, there's some
proposed
pictures.
under a building.
Again,
and I
some of
just-
them are kind of blurred, but there's some pictures.
I don't know.
We're going around circles.
Yeah.
We really
Took
gotta,
a poll of the board, and the commission says that it wouldn't be approved the way it stands. It has to be removed anyways. Can't, because if we allow that, there's probably a few hundred people that aren't gonna be happy with us if we deny it.
If you've been sitting here all night, you heard how we ruled on everything. It's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I know.
Yeah, we
I
can
know.
put up a fence.
which we're trying, we try to help when we can, but we gotta have something
I
going.
got you, that's, we have no issue with that.
Um,
We have no issue with that.
Sorry.
That's fine.
So,
So now we have a timeline.
well, with that,
So you gotta-
we'll have to issue an amended enforcement order
Just to
with
bring the site into
with a timeline for removal,
Well,
And-
bring
and
the site into
stabilization.
compliance is all it has to say.
which means remove it. That's what that means.
Yeah, let's be clear. Yeah,
Right.
Let's be clear in the order, exactly, Reed.
Okay.
All right, so that's it.
So, we want to give you a realistic timeline to remove the patio.
12 months,
And-
they can have 12 months.
If this long, give them a year.
Yeah, 1 year. I agree.
Not
Okay,
harming
hope
anything
you
any
guys
more
don't
than it
forget
already
about
is.
it.
You won't forget
I
about it.
may not be here.
Oh, you're leaving us?
You don't know. You don't
None of
know.
us
I
know.
could die tomorrow.
I'll let you know.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, a whole year.
So make sure you write it down
You're
very
gonna-
clearly.
I mean, a whole year,
Yeah.
like,
You don't have a provision in your computer to set a reminder for a year?
What do you think would be better, at 6 months or 3 months?
6 months.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll move 6 months.
I mean, I don't know.
But now you're talking about winter time.
Winter, that's why the year makes
Midwinter.
sense. You're not gonna do anything
Not gonna do it.
between November and February and March. I think a year is reasonable, and it's
Okay.
not,
Yep. Or if you wanted just for calendar purposes, a status on it before then, Amy.
Yeah, how about
Okay.
that? How
That's
about that,
helpful for
Amy?
you?
How about that? If you set it for status in 6 months, but they have a year to comply.
Okay. All right.
Is that a motion?
It is.
sounds great, yeah.
And
So- And he made it, I second it.
Motion is
All
second.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's unanimous. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
So I think after the patio's done, we can do the COC, right?
Oh, okay, that's fine.
That, because then the site will be back into compliance.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Next one is 49 Equestrian Drive.
This is just an update that they met their deadline for removing the chicken coop.
Chicken mansion.
And that was for September 20th. They met that. This is an update. The next is, no, I'm sorry.
Gotta get the stream crossing done.
I forget. When was it? Well, anyway, the next deadline is the 20th to do the plantings. So
no
they
action
removed the
needed.
coop in time. Now they have to do the plantings, and the deadline for that is the 20th. We'll put it on the September 28th agenda for an update. And then after that, the stream crossing culverts need to be removed by the October 18th, and we'll put it on the 23rd agenda for an update on that.
Excellent.
All right, thank you. Next one. 105 Hillside Road.
All right. So this violation started with us being alerted that there was some earth movement or dirt being moved around. And this house is, you know, got a big wetland in the back and it kind of sneaks up on the side. And so this was, when we caught up with it, it was a yard rehab, basically. So we asked them to cease and desist, install erosion controls. I got out there, met with the homeowner, Mr. Auerman. And there's an existing pool that's been there forever with a cabana that's been there forever, so there's no issue there. But what I did find was that a walkway was installed along the side, and it's right in the picture here. And the wetland is right here, so the walkway and this patio's, there was a patio behind, you know, behind the house, and I honestly don't know how big it was at the time, but maybe it's the same footprint, I'm just not sure. But we permitted this generator, okay? And it was in the 50, so we had to do an RDA for that. And this stuff was not there at the time of the generator permitting. So
What stuff?
this walkway,
Just a walkway?
this walkway going around, and
So you're
it was
suggesting
an old
that-
patio in the back.
So what are you suggesting, that in the course of discussing the location of the generator, the sensitivity of that area was known?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It seems to be what you're saying.
Right, because it was, the generator was on a patio, but it was still in the 50. So, anyway. So, you know, the grass is coming in, so things are getting stabilized from the yard rehab work. But I think the sticking point is, you know, the walkway that was built without a permit. Homeowners here, if you want to address the commission, you can do that.
Maybe there are other structures there, all the other structures all set.
Those are old.
Old.
The cabana, the pool.
Cabana pool, been there forever.
Shed.
You don't have any old photos of like what it looked like when I bought the property?
I may have just like right where the generator was, not the whole 360.
If you remember last August 6th, the 100-year storm. And then we had 2 or 3 more storms in the next 2 weeks. Water table came crazy. My basement flooded. At the time, I had been right in the middle of contracting with someone to replace the coping inside that pool area with concrete coping. That Friday night, I walked down into my basement. A buddy of mine said, "Hey, can you help me out? I need to borrow your cordless drill." Stepped off the bottom step into 8 inches of water. And when I bought the house in August 2021, I said, "I got no sump pump. Do I need to worry about that?" She said, your foundation is rock solid. Don't even worry about it. So I was a little bit taken aback. Had to drain the water, you know, with that Serve Pro, the whole bit, lots of money. Water apparently coming through the foundation. So I didn't really sleep for 3 weeks. I bought a wet vac and I'm pumping some, you know, I'm doing a lot of work, keeping it from having to spend the money on Serve Pro again. I said, stop the concrete work on the pool. I need you to jackhammer a sump pump into my basement. Now, everything that you see in these photos was already pre-existing cobblestone with, I think that's what they call it, cobblestone brick. It was a brick walkway with a very rotted railroad tie retaining wall to keep the grass from falling onto the, so I raised the walkway. I said, get rid of everything. I want poured concrete, get it away from the house as much as possible to divert the water. And it took a couple of months to get this done. It was kind of an emergency situation. So what had been with that generator, if you look at that photo, that was the dimensions haven't changed. I just said, it was paving stone, and the water was seeping through the paving stone into the foundation, into the dirt surrounding the foundation. And it was obviously coming through into my basement. So pour concrete, I wanted to run off the concrete into the lawn, and we did the walkway all the way around the house. When I bought the house, they gave me a $1,000 provision to replace the cobblestone. It was a nice concession. I had no idea what I was dealing with. I didn't know anything about conservation area. Nobody told me, or maybe if it was in the documentation, I was completely unaware. So this was kind of a rude awakening from the get-go when I even applied for the generator. So that generator was on paving stones, 24 by 24 paving stones. Instead of it being concrete, there was a railroad tie retaining wall holding it in place. All got replaced with poured concrete. All the way wraps around to the front of the house. even in the pool area, there was a small area between the pool and the house, sandy. I have 2 basements. Lucky me, both flooded. I had that poured with concrete also. I needed to divert the water away from the house because the foundation was basically floating. And that was the evolution of it. I mean, I really hadn't planned on spending the money, doing the work. You know, I might have done it piecemeal. I really didn't have much choice. I wanted to get sleep. So, that's my story. Well, wait a minute, time out. I can expound on that. The mountain of dirt, they did a lot of concrete work. They had trucks on my front lawn pouring concrete. I said, I want this leveled off. So I didn't tell them how to do it. They came in, they had their little mini, whatever, Tonka toys. They piled a mountain of dirt up. We left it there over the weekend. Great photo ops. I got neighbors that aren't that good neighbors, but that's okay, you know, for whatever reasons. And then they spread it out, and then before they could even hydroseed it, they just basically piled it up in dirt, spread it back out again. Then they were going to hydroseed it, and I got the cease and desist. And I said, look, please, let me at least proceed. I got the what do you call it, erosion controls. Yeah. I got that done, sent photos to Amy, she approved of it, and then I was allowed to hydroseed it, and it looks a lot better than it does there. It's actually coming in nice, but it basically is identical to what was there before. There's no new dirt. It's the same dirt that was on the property before, it just got moved around a little bit, piled up, spread back.
Do we know where the wetland line is? We don't.
I don't know. I mean, we measured just for the generator. That was Taylor who actually did that measuring.
We don't have an actual delineation?
We do not.
All right, so would it be reasonable to?
It'd be very, very helpful.
All right, so that's.
And I thought maybe a delineation in some sort of rudimentary plot plan of some sort to get a handle on, you know.
So the wetland
But-
extending up the side of the house, on the side of where this walkway is, correct?
Yeah, it probably,
Is it part of an extensive,
well, yeah. And it
System,
flows.
or-
Yeah, and it flows, and it's a bigger wetland system in
Further
the
up.
back.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
This is right behind Royal Crest, if that helps.
Yeah, that was, that whole, that picture there, that was all cobblestone with the retaining, with the railroad tie retaining. And they had steps, and they were all rotted, termite infested. So now it's poured concrete.
All right, so,
so the reason why I asked what type of
we-
wetland, where it was, is we do need a delineation. We
Yes,
don't need
we
that
do.
whole system flagged. What we do need is anything within proximity of the disturbed areas. We need that flagged.
apparently not.
Right,
Right.
which is a lot of it,
So
because
She
it
doesn't
kind of
believe it.
extends up on both sides of the house.
He might not.
And he did the other side as well in
But the
terms of
generator
disturbing
was
the soil
approved.
for lawn rehab.
But in order for us to,
we need the line.
we need the line, we need a line. We need to know where the wetland line is, or we can't determine the extent of the violation.
How was the generator?
If there is
funded?
one.
Was it a notice of intent? Was it a?
RDA.
RDA.
Did we not have a plan with the RDA?
Oh, it was our, our sketch and our aerial.
But
with
we
our
had a
measurement.
What I-
we had a
We
setback
didn't
for the
have a fo-
proposed generator.
Yeah.
But what I got out of that conversation was exactly that in pursuing the generator, a preferred location was ruled out because it was too close to a wetland area. So therefore, it was known that that location was too close to a wetland area. The
Yeah.
generator that was selected, the location that was selected was further away, where it's shown here. So the knowledge of what do I have over on the side there was
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
made. He knew he had a wetland there. We made him move the generator as part of the permitting process. So, I mean, I can go so far as to say, yeah, we need a resource area, but same conversation we just had, would, even knowing where that line might be, would we let that patio be in there if it's within
the 50.
Definitely not without a delineation.
But is the delineation gonna prove that it's within the
Probably-
50?
Probably.
So what are we making them waste money on a delineation? Take the patio out, take the walkway out.
Well, it wasn't an existing footprint.
Now, his choice could be go out and
Well,
do,
he said it was pre-existing.
But
It's different
probably
material.
not to that extent, though. I'm not gonna say that that's what was there.
Purposely stopped. So that's what we really, I think we need to do, is we need to see what was there before this was there.
how are we gonna do
With
that?
photographs?
Are there pictures
Yeah,
from the
check
RDA?
photo-
Maybe.
The dimensions of the concrete are exactly what was there with the pre-existing railroad ties and the paving stones.
Exactly? Not an
Exactly.
inch?
I didn't direct them to do anything different. I just said, get rid of the railroad ties, and that's where you're gonna
Well,
frame,
yes,
that's where you're gonna
but-
frame the
but look,
concrete.
Nothing was
So that's
here.
not true. So that's not
That's
true.
not true.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
Well, yeah,
Well, yeah,
on
but
the side.
Yeah,
but
it is.
There's all this new stuff, right? in
You
here.
have grass there, now you
So-
got concrete.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
So
accurate.
it's not,
Yep, yep.
And that's where the
Picture is
generator
worth
was.
1,000 words.
It's coming out.
Yep, it's gonna have to come out.
Yeah, it's coming out.
Yep.
And to say that, hardship, get the water away from the house, I mean, you left a planter bed along the whole edge of that walkway, between the walkway and the house, the very feature of which is gonna hold water, as opposed to shedding it away. So I don't believe that you got any benefit for flood protection by doing this. I see no compelling reason that we would ever approve this, if in fact there's a resource area within 50 feet. And if there is, by your,
yeah,
The foundation wall that was
This can't
seeping
stay
was the
there.
back, was the bottom wall by the paving stones there.
and for
Below
you to
the
say
window.
that it was exactly the same, it's not even,
Yeah, no, I
it's not there.
apologize.
It's not there.
Clearly, that's not exactly the same.
It's not there at all. Not, so I don't want to, no sense mincing words, because there are no words to mince. It doesn't exist. It never existed.
Okay, so where are we? What are we doing?
Take it out.
Remove the what?
Take out the walkway and the patio and restore it to the original condition and be in compliance.
Is that a motion?
Yes. It's an enforcement order, right? So we have to act on the enforcement order to order that.
Is that motion to have this added to the existing enforcement order?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Are we curious about where our new sump pump discharges?
I mean, furthering any non-compliance.
so you guys are saying remove what's new, you can keep what footprint was there? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
What is
With
that?
the new
what-
material?
With the
What
new
is that
material?
footprint up there? I can't tell if it's grass that comes down off of those stairs or if it's another, looks like
Ah.
grass, right?
Looks like it's brick.
It's weird.
Looks like it's brick.
It's like
Yeah.
maybe
No, that's the
the
railroad tie.
ties
On the
with
side, and what's in
surface.
between it, that's like it's a, like
The
a.
paving, no, that's cobblestone.
Yeah, yes, that's.
All
It's
cobblestone.
like a brick or something.
Brick, yeah.
Yep.
And the pile of bricks are gone.
Stick within that footprint.
Yep.
I guess the -3 said no additional work
Right,
is approved,
absolutely.
except for what was associated with that generator that was proposed. And, due to some circumstances, a lot of additional work was done,
Yeah.
in violation of the RDA,
big
the
old
-3
paragraph
order.
right here.
So,
I mean, this is my standard.
That's what makes this
This is my
different than
standard
the other ones we
paragraph
talked
right
about
here.
earlier. There was clearly a knowledge.
well, it's called out
Yeah.
right there. The
Right here.
applicant, homeowner, and their contractor, et
Right.
cetera, will do no more work. Otherwise, beyond what was approved.
Which was a generator.
And it specifically says don't put in any patios and decks
Deck
and,
sheds,
yeah.
fence car, right.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, that's about as clear as it gets.
So you
So
telling me
motion
that
was
I,
made, was it
that,
seconded?
that,
I seconded.
you did second it.
Well, so you gotta chase it back to where it was before.
so you gotta remove that, where the fencing is, that section has to come off. The concrete that connects the walkway to the back patio, that's gotta come out. Am I understanding?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the other picture side by side to it, but in essence, it's staying the same footprint that existed before
So
you removed
The
it.
thing we're
saying
missing
is
here is a
right.
wetland line.
Will you have the stairs where the guardrail, where the
So-
railing is? So that
Just-
patio right now is adjacent to the end of the house. So you just go right up, whatever, so wherever it is, the end of the house, that's it. So all this side stuff.
Well, what doesn't show up in any of the work is the sump pump exits right there within, does it show, see if you can get the other one. Can you zoom in on it? You see a little bit to the right of the drain pipe. That's where the sump pump comes out of the basement and connects with the drain pipe in a, I guess it's some kind of 4-inch PVC that's buried and goes off into the dirt somewhere. So what do I do with that?
Leave it.
Yeah, no.
It was there before.
No.
Well, I never had a sump pump.
The gutter was there.
So if I'd have come in and,
That wasn't pre-existing, that's new.
Exactly.
I never had a sump pump, never needed a sump
What
pump,
about
but times change.
Where the drain pipe is, did you have that outlet going way off into the dirt?
There was one of, what do they call, one of those
Probably
green
in the
duck
wetland,
foots.
let's be real.
And it was just running into the dirt.
Okay, so this is all new.
Yeah, so that was new. So my question is, if I came in with some kind of a plan to request this was all like, really, I went 3 weeks without any sleep, you know. And I'm saying, just get it done. I gotta be able to know that at least I got a generator, and now it's gonna power the sump pump, but I won't have, and I actually run my business out of my basement. I'm a one-man, self-employed, company. I get thousands of dollars worth of equipment in the basement. I can't be having this again. So what do I do with that sump pump and that 4-inch PVC that's, running into the dirt somewhere? Is there a way I can propose this?
Does the house have a foundation drain?
I'm sorry?
Is there a foundation drain under the house?
None.
There's no foundation drain?
No. I mean, I was under pressure here, and I clearly, the picture's worth 1,000 words.
Well, under pressure for getting your basement unflooded, not under pressure to redo a whole walkway on the side of the house. That's not under
We'll find
pressure.
resolution to a problem I never anticipated.
So I think the motion for the enforcement order to require removal of the walkway stands. I think an alternative to that can be, if you choose to, get a delineation, know what your limits are, and things that you would like to leave in place that if they're doable, you certainly could ask us. If the question of where does a sump pump discharge go and where could it be permitted, we could address that through such a proposal, but I can tell you that a point source discharge from your roof drain or your sump pump can't be any closer, that pipe can't be any closer than 25 feet from wherever that line is. We don't know where it is.
I have no idea where it is.
We don't know where it is, and that structure can't be closer than 50. So if you think that those are deal breakers because of where the wetland likely is, I wouldn't waste my money doing delineation.
When you did the sump pump drain, the gutter was already there, right?
The gutter, the gutter was pre-existing.
It's already there. So you plumbed your sump pump into that gutter drain.
Gutter just came down to a splash pad.
Yeah.
Oh, it just came down.
We saw that in the old photo.
Oh.
It was flagged.
Yeah, I don't know if the duck foot showed there, but
His new pipe to who knows where came in later.
Let's do that. And I don't want to throw a fly in the ointment, but who approved the generator location?
You guys? The
Yeah,
conservation.
I sat at the
I
same
remember the whole
table.
discussion about it near the window and getting the.
Yeah,
That's
see that,
Yeah.
that window had to come out, and if you look
Oh,
at the new
okay.
photos, it's a solid, unopenable window.
Yeah.
And I changed that. Whatever you guys wanted, it's like, okay.
I saw that.
You gotta have a generator.
Okay. All right, so it's the ball's in your court. Either you do your delineation and apply and hope and see if we could approve it, or just remove it.
Going forward, anything you want to do from now till whenever is going to be determined on the location of the wetlands on your property. So you need to hire somebody to delineate and mark the wetlands. If you don't, every time you come here to ask
Yeah,
us for
it's gonna
something,
be a
or every time you do something, you're likely going to be in violation. You got to know where those wetlands are. That's step one. If you don't do that, I wouldn't do anything.
Well,
Because you're not gonna know if you're in violation if you don't know where
Well,
they
it's
are.
very good information to have about your property. Where's the wetland, where's the 25, where's the 50, what can I do? Everybody knows
You'll always know where your
now.
I'm prepared, that was that Maureen.
Maureen.
I'm prepared to, you know, she's the only one I know, so I'll engage her, and I don't, I'm, you know, really, you're speaking a foreign language to me,
Well, have Maureen call Amy. They both speak the same language.
Okay. I
And
mean,
one of them can interpret for you.
well, yeah, then.
Does the commission want any kind of plan, or just
Well, why don't we,
a field
why don't we do this?
delineation?
Why don't he talk to Maureen?
Maureen?
She can talk to you.
Okay,
So why don't we just give him 30 days?
okay,
To what, retain a wetland scientist and return in front of us?
Right,
okay.
With a plan or no plan?
with no plan.
With
Because the guy, if Maureen tells him, forget about it, he don't need a plan.
we wanna know, I thought I heard somebody ask, where is the sump pump water going? I think we ought to at least know where that's going. If it's daylighting in the 25, we have to make an adjustment.
So maybe Maureen can determine that without,
Right.
Oh, she can investigate that.
She
Yeah,
got,
so,
She can find it. I'm not
she
gonna.
can find
I'm
it.
sure it's gonna take no effort at all.
And
Sure.
then they
He
can-
knows exactly where it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they can come back. You know,
So-
30 days. And then we'll give him direction from there.
So,
All right, then you'll be able to at least come in here and we'll have an idea where your line is and we'll know how to answer your question, if
issue
you
or
have one.
amend.
Okay,
it's a violation letter, so we have to
Okay.
issue.
So
Issue an
I
enforcement
move that we
order.
issue an enforcement order as discussed, and is, will be laid out by our administrator.
Got a motion made?
Second.
Or
All those in favor
engage.
say aye.
Aye.
For the record, my prior motion and second, I'm just gonna withdraw it. No action on it.
So within
Leave it-
30 days,
can't leave it
engage the
hanging out
wetland, engage Maureen,
Hanging Chad.
try to get her
Put it
out
on-
there,
put it
and
up
then
in the
we'll do an
cloud.
update at,
do you have like minutes of these meetings that I can
oh
forward
yeah,
to her?
you can watch the whole video, it's on YouTube.
We record these, you've been on TV all night.
Oh, Jesus.
What do we
I
say?
should have worn my COVID mask. No,
Always-
but
always
is it-
send
is it
somebody
like
else.
printed text that I
Well,
can
yeah,
forward to
but my assistant has to type it, it takes a while, so,
her? Okay, is there
um,
urgency that I,
well, you have 30 days.
They don't become minutes until we vote them at some
You-
future
30
meeting
days.
anyway.
what do you recommend? I
Watch
mean,
the video.
Tell her to listen to the video?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
From her
And she-
computer
and
at
she
home,
can
from
talk
her
to me,
computer
too.
at home, she can pull it up on demand. and
That's
she can
common
watch
for
it
her,
herself.
in
She can
this
watch it
industry?
herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
She knows how to do
I
that.
mean,
We
it
can
seems weird
send
to
her
me,
all of
but,
our
Video
records
on
as
demand.
well.
okay.
There's spies watching.
I'm saying, watch the videos, like, okay.
And she can always call Amy.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so bring a wetland scientist back here in 30
In
days
30
with
days.
with a delineation.
Or at least in progress. Delineation either, I don't know what
Deline-
Maureen's schedule's
We'll-
gonna be,
we'll
do
deal
you
with
know what I
it in
mean?
30
At
days.
least
If they're showing
engage,
good faith moving forward,
Yeah,
we'll-
And then-
one of the things we wanna know is we wanna
And
know
then,
where
but-
the sump pump is
some-
daylighting.
we need to know where the sump pump.
We
Let's
wanna know,
let- We're gonna have Maureen have communication with Amy.
we want Maureen to, if she can find out.
Find the sump pump
Find it.
discharge,
Find
okay?
it, that's it.
Yep,
Motion and a second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's it.
All right, you're all set, brother.
Thank you.
Same name.
I think.
all right, so we'll send you the enforcement order with the outline.
questions, I call you.
Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you for coming in.
Next one is 303 Chestnut Street.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
We got enough of going on.
303 Chestnut is an order that was issued, but it expired in 2022 based on the COVID-19 emergency permit tolling. The commission in February of 2021, that's when we were all remote, we had a conversation with the actually the builder. And the commission said, well, we know we're having tolling, let's just let the tolling play out, and if there's still some work left to be done, you guys were amenable to issuing an enforcement order to allow completion. So the it was sold. He sold it to a couple. The couple built, and they went for certificate of occupancy. So I didn't sign off with them until I met him on site. What's left, all that's left is fine grading, loaming, and seeding for the lawn, which is actually going to be less extensive than what was on the plan. So I said, okay, install new erosion controls at that new toe of lawn. And I'm going to issue an enforcement order to allow the grading to happen, or the lawn establishment really is what we're talking about. And I'm putting it on this agenda for ratification. The only thing that I brought to their attention is that a drip edge for the roof runoff was on the detail sheets of the plan set, but not on the plan view set sheet. So, and I know it wasn't discussed at all because it was the fieldstone wall that was the point of contention with the developer, but it ended up getting built. We do have a fieldstone wall of 25 out there. So I recommend just ratifying the enforcement order and allow for lawn establishment. And I suggested that they talk to the design engineer about, a drip edge or alternative or whatever. But that's where we're at, so.
I move that we ratify the enforcement order as indicated, and that we suggest the homeowner contact an engineer of record to discuss roof runoff.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
vote on this since I wasn't involved in the first place?
What's that?
Can I vote on this one since I wasn't involved?
Of course.
Okay. Sorry.
Don't interrupt.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay.
All right. Next one, these should go quick. Half Mile Hill, Al, it's all in your court.
Josh Nutter, who currently has the contract to bale the hay on Half Mile Hill, made me aware of the fact that the reason he hadn't, well, he was asked, we were asked, Amy asked me, is he going to cut it? Why hasn't he cut it? The contract prohibits him from cutting until August 15th. That's why he hadn't cut it. It's unreasonable. By August 15th, the hay is junk and nobody wants, if you bale it, nobody wants to buy it. If we leave August 15th in there as a deadline to cut and bale the hay, we're going to have nobody to bale it.
Bobolink habitat?
Yep.
Bobolink
Bobolink.
habitat, that's like May, right? By the
No,
time
it was
they
like
Pledge
They're-
by mid-June.
June.
pledge by mid-June?
They're gone by between Father's Day and the end of
To make
June.
it July 1, moving forward.
That was going to be my
Yeah,
recommendation.
July
I
1.
thought they used to do it twice. Once,
Well, they can't do it twice if they don't start till August 15th.
right, but I think that's why, I thought one was 2 months earlier, and then the second one was
So that's,
August.
apparently that's not what the contract says.
No, it's.
It just simply says, mowing may not commence until
Right.
15 August.
Yep.
And 15 August, frankly, what he's gonna do this year is he's just gonna chop it.
Yep.
And,
So the fledging of the bobolink's what I remember being the issue, and they fledge out end of June, you're saying. So that place is absolutely clear by
Wasn't
July 1.
The plovers?
No.
those are
No,
saltwater.
that's salt.
Those are
That's
shorebirds.
beach.
Those are the beach
Hey, listen,
ones.
don't make things worse than they already
We
are.
don't
You
want
can't say, you say the plover word, you bring in the whole federal government.
I have a 55-acre landfill that I can't mow
Yeah.
until July 1.
Yeah.
Because of the bobolinks. And they're there,
Well-
and they're beautiful.
Well, it's
And
wor-
we don't mow.
it's
and they're
worse.
Everybody's doing great.
Is July, well,
Yep.
if they're, can we do mid-June for the mow?
I mean,
That's too soon.
early. That's
Too
early.
soon, all
Well,
right.
let me
I was
just,
gonna say
It's like-
mid-July,
Fledging is
to
just
play it
letting-
safe.
I can give you
Are
my
they-
They're still
Oh, they're still
experience.
hopping around.
Yeah.
Joe, I can give you my experience. I usually start on Father's Day, which is like the second Sunday in June. And I haven't mowed or baled any bobolinks, any turkeys.
You know.
You know if you do. When my machine hits something, you know it. You know, anything it hits. And,
Being a wise guy, I'm sorry.
yeah, no, it's
Well, you'll
just,
see blood splatter.
it's just,
That's
you know,
right.
the quality of the hay. He feeds it, I don't know if you know, he's got the horse farm on Great Pond Road.
All right,
They
so
got
are we-
31 horses.
That's good. Are we okay with second Sunday in June?
So,
That's early.
Too soon, okay,
We
so
will-
first, July 1st.
July 1
July 1?
is the recommended,
Okay, July 1?
because that way you're safe. That way the bird people won't chase you around the building.
Okay,
July 1?
So that,
all right. Motion,
so it would be a motion to amend the contract from 15 August to July 1.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
okay.
Conservation.
All
for,
right,
Woodley.
conservation restrictions for Woodley. I don't know how it fell through the cracks for not getting it accepted, the roadway accepted, but the homeowners, through their attorney, kind of pushed this, and we had our annual town meeting in May to accept. There's a time frame of 120 days to complete any remaining anything for that acceptance to remain valid. The conservation restriction is the only outstanding issue. Justine and I did a baseline report that the state required before they would, accept the CR. We did do that. Board of Selectmen has signed the CR, so it's up to the commission.
And the state has signed off on it at this
Not yet, no, because they're waiting for your sign off.
Oh, they've done the review already?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yep,
This is just the conservation restriction on the open land for the PRD?
yeah.
Okay.
And it's basically the wetland.
Yeah, it is all wet.
It's all wetland.
Yes, it is.
Practically, yep.
Yes.
So.
We have great stories we're not gonna tell you tonight.
Okay, good.
So do
Done.
we need to vote on that, or we just sign at the end of the meeting?
We have to vote it. You
Vote
have to
it and then sign.
Who signs it? Do you sign it or do we all sign it?
You do.
We have to individually sign it.
Yeah,
So it's
I
gonna
got
come
a
around?
signature page ready for you. Yep.
All right.
Do
Okay.
we just say, I move to grant the CR for Woodley? Is that it?
Accept it.
Accept it.
Accept it. Yep.
Second, I accept it also.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. Okay.
A little disingenuous that a 120-day time clock is taken away after 24 years.
I know.
All right, now this one is, I'm gonna take this over. 49 Longwood Ave. It's a bit of a snafu, and I hope you'll listen to what I have to say, because it's very unusual. A building permit was issued in 2019 for an addition on this house on Longwood Ave. The contractor that was supposed to do it, they got a building, they received a building permit, and the contractor that was supposed to do it poured the foundation and took off. The homeowner hired another contractor, took $19,000 of his money, and disappeared.
Two disappearing men?
Two. The third guy they hired went to get the building permit, because they said the building permit couldn't be transferable. They had to issue a new permit. So when they went to issue a new permit, they realized that there was a wetland or a buffer. It was in the buffer. So the foundation is already there. So it was.
Pandemic,
So-
PRC, you guys don't call it PRC, what do you call
So,
it down there?
And,
You know,
yeah, we were
You
remote.
have
it
Form-
fell through the
Form-
cracks. I don't know if it was because of
Form U.
COVID.
Yeah, it was,
The Form U was
we don't
signed
do that anymore.
by Amy, but it just happened. And it was an oversight, but he just I feel bad for the guy too, because he's kind of getting torn apart.
What are we being asked to do?
So my recommendation is to, you're not gonna tell the guy to rip up his foundation. He's already been destroyed already. Been 3 years or whatever.
Buried.
My recommendation is to let him file for an NOI.
And allow them to continue to do
Pardon
the
me?
stick work?
And let him continue doing his stick work, because he's in a world of,
I'm confused. You're saying allow him to file an NOI or make him file one? What are you
no,
saying?
make him.
So
We
have
can,
him
well, you
file.
have two
But we're
forms.
gonna-
We can do an after-the-fact NOI, which I don't think is fair to the homeowner, or just do a regular NOI.
Do it regular, yeah, I wouldn't penalize us, that's where we signed off on a Form U.
Right, but now he should be, I think, because this situation is
And the
rare.
homeowner's here.
I
either, right?
think we should allow him to start the construction. Because he did have a legitimate building permit. It wasn't his fault.
Exactly.
So-
That's what Form U does, that's your insurance policy.
Okay, so, to me, it's an approval, it's an approval, it would have been an approvable project, the way it was.
So
Because,
it's a resource area, but it's still gonna meet the criteria, there's nothing controversial.
waivers is what you're saying.
No
no
waivers.
waivers.
It shouldn't. What there is now is there's the house, a driveway that goes to a garage, an existing garage, that's closer to the wetland than the proposed, or the addition that he poured. So I think that is a scenario all day long that the commission will be fine with.
Yeah, it was definitely approvable, it was just,
But he had, the salient point here is he had a building permit signed off.
yes.
No,
It's not his fault. He reasonably relied upon that building permit. He's on solid ground.
Right, so you're telling me you don't have to file an NOI?
No, I think he does.
I think he does.
Yeah, I think he needs to file an NOI with us, and
But-
he will,
Just like as if he had, it expired. When your NOI expires, you have to come in and just.
Okay.
So,
because he's gonna do more than just put the
on this
foundation in,
discussion,
right?
The
is
foundation's in.
the work that's being done, is it so much so that it is an NOI? Or is an RDA appropriate?
It could be an RDA.
Is it an enforcement order?
Not-
Whatever it is that documents
I mean, it could be an
Yeah,
IDA
wetlands
now,
delineated.
only because foundation's in place.
They were by Maureen.
So how many conditions do we would?
You know, I
need?
think Joe hit the nail on the head. You give him an enforcement order, friendly enforcement order, have him finish it.
So long as the work is non-invasive, it's not intrusive, it's gonna, as long as it's not like going right up to the edge of the envelope. If this thing is really a no-brainer, and it's just simply because he's within 100 feet, the yard's flat and there's no threat whatsoever, I think we could go with
I
this.
mean, honestly, the work that would threaten the wetland has already happened, and it really, didn't see any impact at all.
Yeah, sure.
I think enforcement is fair game.
Whatever is
Under the
gonna be
circumstances.
the friendliest for this individual.
Okay.
All right, so
As long as there are no waivers.
So if we do enforcement.
I don't think so. I mean, but again, again,
require a record plan.
yes.
Well, the enforcement order can require that.
Yeah. And the EO lets him start right away.
And I don't want to put him under some protracted bureaucratic filing mechanism and
Right.
costly time delays and.
No, I'm with you.
Just go
This guy,
and document.
he relied upon a building permit. That's everything.
So we say enforcement order, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
I don't know what that means.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
It means you
Today it's a
can
good
start work.
And it saves you a lot of money. Because you've already been beaten up enough.
Yeah, but you'll need a record plan, so
Yeah.
it's gonna,
So do
what
you
you've
need,
got
you
there
Have to hire an engineer.
now,
need to spell out what that
the
enforcement order is?
foundation versus the wetland, that whole
Yeah,
plan
yeah,
has to be
it'll
exactly
work.
what's on the ground
Let the
now.
water flow downhill.
Okay, all right.
All right, so my motion was to
Mr. Engineer.
Issue-
direct
Let it seek out
the
its own level.
conservation agent to issue an
Issue an
enforcement
enforcement
order.
order,
Allow the work to move forward and
Allow
to
work.
document the work that, for the record.
and with a
the work that was
record
approved.
plan to be submitted. Is there a time frame for the record plan to be submitted, or?
Prior to certificate of occupancy. Prior
Oh,
to CO.
Prior to CO?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Foundation, it's gonna go pretty fast.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
I think so. We wait
Okay.
long enough.
Okay,
All right,
so
we need a motion.
basically, we're giving you
We get decisions.
a friendly enforcement order
We need a
that
motion for
allows
this
the
or not?
work to continue
The CO.
with the requirement that a record drawing, record plan be provided before I can sign off on the certificate of occupancy.
The motion was to direct the agent to
Okay, so
issue
you're
the
gonna build
enforcement
it, and then you're gonna
We're
get all
done.
your inspections with the building
order. We
department,
should call the vote.
and
All right,
then
so
they're
I
gonna
moved
make
it.
you go
Joe
for a
seconds it.
CO, it's called
All
a
right, all those in
CO,
favor say aye.
a certificate of
Opposed?
occupancy,
Yes,
saying that it's habitable,
Have to tell her.
your addition
Gotta
is
protect that
habitable.
phony baloney jobs.
And,
Yes, gentlemen.
you know, so that's where I was.
I didn't get a rump out of that guy.
Yeah.
Just heard the second and voted it.
Before I can
I
sign
heard,
off.
I heard the eye.
But we're done.
What the commission,
Well,
we have two
I guess
decisions.
it's gonna
But if
depend
you
on,
wanna take,
Amy's talking.
you can probably get the record plan sooner than
if
later
you wanna,
because the
if you
foundation's
wanna,
there.
table the, continue decision, if, do a time constraint.
But we closed
closed on it.
surrender, and we didn't close 114, or did we?
We did.
We did.
Oh, no, yeah,
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did when we figured out the engineer
So we got two decisions.
Yeah, we
gotta
might as well get it over.
Get them out.
Unless you wanted to read that 77-page thing that he has. Okay.
I think that, let's do the surrender one first.
All right, let's do this right. One
That's an
Terra
easy
Way.
one.
Okay.
I'm gonna just move it.
Yep, okay, then move it.
as drafted.
Motion to issue, and accept and issue as drafted.
Amy, we've,
What do we have up on? Does it matter? All right, we have a motion. Joe? We have a motion.
I just want to make sure Amy understands that we've already moved, seconded, and voted the enforcement order. We are now about to move an order of conditions.
So DEP file number 2421895.
Next week, okay? Thank you. All right, what are we doing?
Decision.
We're just moving
We're
along.
we're on decisions.
We just accepted the decision from Montero Way.
Oh, okay.
All right?
It's all good.
Everybody, you have to say goodbye to.
Yes, my last
Justine.
meeting.
Oh, really? Good.
She's going to work for Williams and Spratt.
Yeah, we're gonna be delineating wetlands for Williams and Spratt, just working under.
That's
Well,
very
thank you for
nice.
your time.
Yeah.
We'll see you
It's
soon.
been a pleasure.
It's been
You
a
helped me
pleasure
get
working
this
with you.
position, so
You
thank you.
can't, a whole year,
A whole
right?
year.
A whole year.
Yeah. Wait a year and I'll come back and argue with you guys.
All right.
Yeah, right.
never win.
That's what you're
I
gonna do.
hope you're looking forward to that.
Yeah. I know how you think now.
Yeah, right.
But it has been a pleasure.
You too, bye-bye.
Good luck with everything.
Yeah, take care.
Good luck.
So,
Congratulations,
I
Jess.
move that we
Best of luck.
accept the orders of conditions for 43 Montero Way, DEP file number 2421895 as is drafted.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Unanimous.
Okay. Now, that's the draft, the second is the draft for the, Route 114 sewer project. I don't know if you guys
2421898.
need more time to digest it. I know,
Okay.
I don't know, it's up to you.
My only hangup on that was putting us in a position where if we require them to submit their protection measures to us, if we were to say that's unacceptable,
Yeah,
do we in fact corrupt their bidding process? Because
Oh,
the contractor could say, well, that's not how I bid it. We heard was it Wooden Current? Or was it Environmental Partners? That was
Wooden Current.
Wooden Current. We heard from Wooden Current saying, look, that 77-page document spells it right out. If they're confident in that, I'm not worried about what.
Should that document that you just talked about be attached to this decision? Incorporated into the decision?
Well, it's funny you should say that because what they have is, that's part of their specification, of their part of their bid. Till it's the street, and even under an addendum, that can be changed, regardless of what we say. If we make it part of our order, they can't change it.
I think in order to protect the town's interests, we should.
So who has read it then? Because I haven't. And if we're putting it out of order, I think we ought to read it.
I
Probably.
can't say that I've read the whole 7.
Well, then, why don't we continue this, not deliberate on this tonight, and have somebody on the commission,
Because we're meeting in 2 weeks, right? So we
Yeah,
do have the
so
time.
we do have time.
so we don't have to decide tonight.
All right, let's not. Yeah, let's,
All right. All right, so I'm
Guess
gonna
we're reading
send you,
specs.
I'm gonna
Let's-
resend you
let's-
all of that information by email with this.
Yeah,
Take time to read it.
yeah, let,
And then you can,
Well, let our engineer, Brad wants to look at it, Marissa might
Brad,
want to look at it.
Joe, and Marissa
I mean,
especially.
This is out of my league.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, same here, don't even bother sending it to me, because I won't understand what it says, but they will.
Okay. I'll send it to everybody.
All right, so we are continuing that.
All right, so we'll
So we're
continue.
gonna,
and that 77 pages was a product from you meeting
No.
with Greg?
Well, he might have took
And-
some of the information that we shared with him, put in that.
So the thin outline that we got, that was Greg's product from your meeting.
Right.
and would encourage, put the more detail together. All right, yeah, I'll read that prior to the next meeting.
Okay.
So Amy, just so you're clear on the other one, the one that we sent forward before, the Montero Way, that was
As is?
approved as is.
Okay.
There were no changes, no
Okay.
nothing, okay?
Thank you.
Chair, may I offer a motion to adjourn?
Second. Sure. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Signature
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Lots and lots of signatures. Oh, wait a minute,
What's this-
oh, wait a minute.
what's this-
No.
what's this great book?
We've got,
Yeah.
I do have a draft decision for the Board of Resources.
Go ahead, so back, can we go back on the record?
Do we have to reopen the meeting?
Reopen.
Yep, I move to reopen. Second.
What are we reopening for?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, and that's unanimous,
It's
okay.
unanimous. All right, so my motion is to reconsider and to issue an order of resource delineation for Zero Great Pond Road, Brook School, in accordance with an earlier agenda item tonight that we did close. So we can issue this tonight.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Motion to reclose.
Okay, now you can adjourn. Do we have to
Move to adjourn?
No,
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
We stand adjourned.
Yep.